Welcome to Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Canada. As you see the wind turbines in the prairies, a windy part of Canada on the southwestern portion of the province of Saskatchewan, aptly named after the Swift Current Creek, moving quite rapidly there with a slogan, "Where life makes sense is Swift Current." And it makes sense to do some farming in this land. Of course, a big portion of the economy in this area based on agriculture, but it also makes sense to come watch curling at the Credit Union iPlex, playing host to its second Ford World Women's Curling Championship. And we are inside for draw 13. Lukoli Hans Frauenlob, Canada taking on Korea, our feature game. We are right here, sheet A for this one, as we see a big crowd in the building again, of course, with Canada in contention and in play. Good look right down at the lights as we continue to honor every nation throughout each draw, and Canada taking on Korea, our feature matchup. As they wait to begin, let's look at the teams. Skip Kim Ji-sun throws lead stone. Second, Lee Sil-bi. The third for Team Korea, Min-ji. And throwing fourth stones, Kim Un-chi. Canada, their lead, Lainey Peters. Their second, Jocelyn Peterman. Third player and 2006 Olympic bronze medalist, Amy Nixon. And their skip in her first World Championship appearance, Chelsea Carey, team out of the Glencoe Club in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Look, all four sheets in play as the standings getting near the end of round robin. Scotland atop at 7-1, closely by Canada and Switzerland at 6-1. Then Japan at 6-2, Russia just on the outside, 5-3. Denmark 3-4. Still small chance for them, along with the U.S. at 3-4. Germany, Korea, not mathematically, but looks tough for them to be in at 3-5. Sweden gets their second win, 2-6. And then Finland, Italy, rounding out the 12-team round robin field. Teams, the usual tradition, handshakes before the game. Good curling. And there will be some good curling out there as we look at the other games. Sheet A is our feature game, Korea and Canada. Sheet B, Sweden, Denmark. And Sheet C is Germany and the U.S. While Scotland looks to win their 8th game against Switzerland at 6-1. Keeping an eye on those one-loss teams, including Canada, 6-1 in our feature game. Hasn't been an easy 6-1 record for the Canadians.
Well, that's right, Luke. We've watched this Canadian team have to pull off some pretty miraculous comebacks over the course of the week. Team Italy had them in trouble. Here we see Team Korea. They're on 5 losses now, so this is the only team in this tournament that has no Olympic qualification pressure on them because, of course, the 2018 Olympics are going to be in Korea. So now they can just focus on gaining experience. No pressure against this favored Canadian team. But as we mentioned, Scotland versus Switzerland on another sheet in this draw, so we'll keep you up with the play. We're getting to the business end of the competition now, and every game's got playoff implications. Only 4 teams are going to make that playoff round, so big game here for the Canadians.
We'll see. It was in 2012, and it was Lainey Peters who was playing lead for the Canadian champion that year, skip Heather Nedouin, when it was this 3-4 game. Korea beating Canada, and you can say it's an upset looking at it that way. Canada went on to win the bronze that year. So some history between a couple members of these teams.
I think there is. The Canadians got a pretty healthy scare last night against the Italians, and they were maybe guilty of looking past what for many would be a weaker team, and they had to make their last shot to win the game. So I suspect they probably had breakfast this morning and thought, okay, it's Korea. but we have to play this one like it's the final. So I expect that the Canadians are going to come out really strong.
Well, Canada will start with the hammer. The red stones belong to Korea, yellow for Canada. We are on sheet A for this game.
But don't look past this Korean team. Frankly, I'm a bit surprised that they're on a 3-5 record. They've finished 4th at 2 separate occasions in World Championships, so these are quality players. They've also competed at the Winter Olympics, so lots of international experience for this Korean team.
Nice throw, Lainey. 9-3.
Well, Lainey Peters, the nose hit, sits top of the forefoot. Canada knows they have a tough finish to the schedule as well, but right now it's all about just this game at hand, a big win today, and see where they fall trying to get into the playoffs.
Well, the Canadians are going to have to be sharp to win this one. As we mentioned, the 2018 Winter Olympics are going to be in Korea. The Korean curling program is making quite a massive investment in player development, sending their teams internationally to compete.
Trading hits on this side, probably no problem for Korea having played earlier today. Canada had the morning off. But
And that
Korea
can help.
comes back with a win. But
Yeah, they had an interesting game this morning. Fell behind 4-0, and then all of a sudden flicked the switch.
the light switch of the building.
Literally.
And then scored 3 and then stole 3 and won the game.
So pretty straight up and down here in the first end. Nice crowd here on a Wednesday afternoon in Swift Current, supporting their hometown team. Here's Jocelyn Peterman, the Canadian second.
Okay, clean. You're okay. Nice throw, Joss. 9-1. Takes a second to come over, hey? What's that? Takes a second to come over. Yeah, it just holds for a minute, for sure.
Well, Canada's been in every Olympic Winter Games since it became a full medal sport in '98. Korea only once. That was in 2014. This team here, a 3-6 record. Of course, Canada, the Olympic gold medalist, the nation. Chelsea Carey defeated that Olympic gold medalist team to win en route to a Canadian title.
Yeah, through the late 1990s and the early part of the 2000s, out of the Pacific Asia region, it was historically the Japanese team and then the Chinese team that were dominant, but gradually the Korean women's program is improving, and they did represent at the last Winter Games. If you're not familiar with how the teams get here, the World Curling Federation does have a regional qualification system, kind of like FIFA in football. So in the Pacific Asia region, 2 teams come out of the Pacific Asia Championships, and so at this competition, that would be this Korean team and Japan.
Of course, Korea doesn't have the pressure of having to build those points. We look at the rules of play: 6 innings minimum, 38-minute thinking time, 160-second timeout. Korea doesn't have to worry about points, which could be tough because only 2 teams qualify each year. Next year, China will be hosting and doesn't have to qualify through it. So they know they're into the Olympic Winter Games. Japan, impressive showing so far, and they'll need that.
Yes, the Japanese have to earn their way in through ranking points. The Olympics will be a 10-nation event, so there's 9 places up for grabs. Of course, the host nation, Korea, has a place in both the men's, the women's, and now also the mixed doubles discipline. But that can bring a different kind of pressure for the host nation. There's a small number of elite level teams in Korea in the women's and the men's division, and although Korea has a place, they'll be competing amongst themselves really to be the Korean representative. So every Korean team, anytime they step on the ice in an international event, they're being showcased, and it's like a test for them as well.
Not sure if this one just caught the curl and took off, or if it picked something that made a move. That one really jumped off to the side of the sheet.
Yeah, but as soon as I said it was all there, it came through grinding home.
Kim Un-chi, 4th stones for the Korean side.
Good shot there. So this does represent a bit of a lineup shift for this Korean team. This unit has played in previous World Championships, but previously their alternate, Kim Ji-sun, was skipping the team, but now Kim Un-chi throwing those last rocks. So nothing really doing here offensively. Canada will be looking more than likely to blank this end, I would say.
Yeah, all started first stone in, and they elected to play the hit. Canadian skip, Chelsea Carey. Will just hang around edge of the 12-foot.
Using all of that 12-foot circle. Sweeping it to try and get some curl. They want to stay on the rings, and they do.
Of note, some teams try and save some time in an open end like this. Skip stays down there. Chelsea Carey came down and saw just in behind. She was watching the sheet. I've seen some issues where they have felt like they haven't got a good grasp of the ice. And maybe just take an extra look.
Well, I have noticed that this Canadian team in a few games, Chelsea Carey in particular, has late in the game all of a sudden looked up at the time clock and been kind of concerned that they're actually getting tight on time when she didn't think that they would be. So I suspect that's one of the things that they'll have talked about between games, and try to be a little bit more ready to play early in the game on routine shots and bank a little of that time.
Trying to roll out, blank the end. And they will. Let it worry it wasn't, but it'll go down. Zeros. And a blank first end here at the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Well, we are on sheet A for the second end, Korea against Canada. 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlob. Thanks for tuning in wherever you may be watching from. First end, not a whole lot doing. First stone in, playing hits.
It takes two to tango, and looked to me like both teams were pretty happy to play the first end defensively. So, yep, pretty routine. This end will be a little bit different as the Koreans have a stone that will come up short of the rings on the center line. Very tight though. So now we should see the complexion of this end switch to the offense. There's Lainey Peters.
Curl. Gotta go for weight though. Needs to move. Hard for weight.
Long guard.
18.
Yeah, they were talking about getting it to the Ford logo. That one at the first set of decals over the hog line.
Wrong logo, but in play.
We've been seeing consistent curl throughout the week, inside out, outside in. Do you like the guard a little bit tighter, or is it a team preference?
I think it is a team preference. As you said, I'm sure they would have liked that one probably another 5 feet deeper than it was. But you're right. There's fantastic amount of curl in both directions here. Head ice technician Jamie Barassa again doing a fantastic job with the ice. So makes it great for us curling fans. You can see lots of fantastic shots.
So goes back 4 foot. Chance here to play the freeze. Look over Scotland, Switzerland. This a key game. Scotland in a real good position with a win, as is Switzerland.
Yeah, a big game here and a big shot here in the first end for Scotland. Free draw for 2 for Eve Muirhead.
Yeah, it looks like Benya Felcher missed a double with her final shot. Left one around, and
that's a very comfortable start for Scotland.
They had an impressive win this morning against Russia. Just controlled that game from start to finish.
So Scotland goes on top 2-0 very early in that game.
Of course, Korea will play Switzerland in their last game of the round robin, while Scotland and Eve Muirhead will play Canada. So both these teams will play those two as we play through round robin.
Yes, all of these teams at the top end of the table jockeying for playoff position. This one's tracking a little bit. They need it to curl. Sweeping it now, I think, to go by. So that's definitely plan B.
They just papered both of those stones in the 4 foot.
And there we talked about how the stone curls both ways, and there you saw a good example of it. In 4 feet, that stone basically moved a rock and a half width. But good chance here for the Canadians. They do have the hammer. 2 Korean stones behind the tee line. But the one that Chelsea Carey is worried about is that stone that's on the center line in front of the rings. So she's going to ask Jocelyn Peterman to try and relocate it.
Try and get onto the paint, or just as a corner guard?
Not sure. They just really want to keep it near the house. If they don't roll it on, they can maybe promote it later. There's the roll. Okay. Rolls away and off the playing surface. So a bit of a chance for Korea to pull the chute now, and there's a little bit of trouble brewing, but they're going to try and get rid of this Canadian rock. Can't over curl. Risking the jam. Big weight. And a nice little roll to the outside. Team Korea pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, you definitely know when they're running the sweep call. There's no question about that as they roll off to the side. No center line coverage, so it does still allow Canada to try and make a good shot, and you can try and set up your 2.
Yeah, stones are in good locations now for the Koreans, though, even though they don't have the hammer. That one on the 8-foot fully behind the corner guard, and that shot stone's behind the tee line. So if the Canadians make a play here for a hit and roll, Korea will likely have a chance to come down and play some kind of a freeze. Canada trying to corner freeze on that stone in the 8-foot. Very nice stone there by Peterman. Great position.
Well placed, moves it just enough to sit second shot.
And also on fantastic angles for Canada now. There we see that yellow stone is half buried behind the corner guard. Korea plays in turn and tries to move the yellow. There's a jam. Korea plays out turn on the yellow. There's a jam. So the eventual decision looks to be follow that one down. I'm going to try and sit right on top of that yellow stone. Probably a little inside freeze, little inside angle. So after a conservative first end, it's game on here in end number 2. Sweeping it for line and weight. They don't want this one to overcurl.
It has, it'll overcurl, tap that one up. Still second shot.
So now it is a very good opportunity for Canada.
Question is there access to that top red
That's
with
what
the wide in turn?
Chelsea Carey's just checking that. Looks to me like it's at least 3/4 buried. There's Canadian coach Charlie Thomas looking on.
Charlie, a 2-time world junior champion.
And he's also represented Canada at the World Mixed Doubles Championship, so very talented curler, Charlie.
Gotta go. Still 10.
They'd like the double, but they're looking mainly for the roll, but they roll out of the rings.
Just a little more weight than I think what they're looking for.
There's Korean coach Shin Dong-ho. Luke and I were talking to well-known Canadian curler and commentator, Olympic silver medalist Mike Harris before the game, and I asked Mike, what's it like to be a coach? And Mike goes, it's really hard because you really care.
You really care, and
but you can't throw it.
It's tough sitting on the bench there. Get a little stiff and sore just sitting there too as coaches.
So this is an interesting choice. Are they going to try and make a play around that Yellowstone and try to get some kind of action on that Yellowstone by promoting their own?
They will play this one very tight to that guard out in front.
Oh, Minji. They're close.
Big weight, punch that one through,
Oh,
spin it
what
off.
a beautiful shot from Korea. Trying to sweep it out of the rings and all the way back. Well, Korea's lying at least 3 and maybe 4.
Great team shot using the sweeping to have that one.
Oh, Minji, let's take a look at this. How close they must come to the guard. So they're by the guard now. What kind of angle and action do they get? And they spring it off the back red and past the stone in the back 12-foot. Great result for Korea.
Yeah, really tough because you have to manage your weight control to get around and get the curl, and then manage the sweeping to get that late finish.
Yeah, had that perfect line and weight, and they did.
Really gotta go. Still 10.
Last time Canada gets by. but will chip off that top one.
A little bit of a break there by jamming on the side stone. So Canada has 4th shot, but there's 3 red Korean stones. Canada does have last rock here in the second end, but in a little bit of trouble now. There we see the view from the hack at the home end. Red stone, red stone, red stone, all belonging to Korea. So Kim and Chi look to throw a guard. This one looks like it's got plenty. Don't want to come too deep into the rings, but this one looks like it's coming into the 4-foot. Just sits barely short of the 4. So good line there, but brought the stones into the rings, but still a difficult choice for Canada. If they make the double and roll, they may not be shot. Let's listen.
But I don't think I can get second rolling, can I?
No. Third.
Yeah,
Force her to chase it.
but you, to make
Yeah,
the
I
roll,
know.
you're just nutting this, aren't you?
Yeah, which is no good.
No.
I think we just make it. All the here isn't bad.
Yeah, if you ever got it thin and got that one going, that would be nice, but
Yeah.
make sure these two.
Okay.
Firm.
Yeah.
Shouldn't curl based on yours and Jocelyn's.
So get that one off the buttons. The big, really the objective of this one, by making the double.
That's right. Now it's a bit of damage control. So we saw Amy Nixon's brush, and
I don't like this, but we don't have a choice, I don't think.
yeah, she doesn't really want to play this shot, but we can see where the broom is. That's exactly where she wants to hit it.
It doesn't catch that other one.
Trying to make
You
a
have
double.
To just rub it, the back
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
It's possible, but
Just
you
staying
can't
right
play it
there,
that
though.
cute.
So Carrie thinks there might even be a triple takeout here.
If you can at all, because she just knows I'm going to
Okay.
make my draw harder.
Sounds good.
Firm.
Okay. You got her, Chelsea. Trust it. Wait's nice.
Whoa, 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 yep. Whoa, whoa, Josh! Hard, hard, hard.
Well, try and make the double. Jams on that back one. Rolls away his second shot. But importantly, gets that shot stone off the button.
So probably about a 75% result here for the Canadians. Was hoping to get rid of 2 or maybe 3, but got rid of 2 of them. But leaves Korea lying 1.
If she was playing the triple, I think she would have had to throw a lot more weight to try and spin it.
Yep, she said trying to throw firm, but great chance here for Korea to generate the force.
Well, got to get rid of this stone, avoid the jam.
Just navigates it between those 2 stones at the back, and
Lied
Korea
3.
lies 3.
Question is, where do you put the broom now? Which draw do you play?
Well, it's mission accomplished for the Koreans. They were really just looking to force Canada in this end, and they've certainly done that. No possibility of 2 here for Canada. So Chelsea Carey
It's your path, though, isn't it?
has to draw.
No. Were you inside that?
Okay, this is just a little wider than your path, Josh, so it should be that speed, I think.
Yeah, okay. I think it's pretty nice. Like,
Yeah, I missed yours, but I had 14.6 on theirs that froze to yours.
yeah, I think 14 and a half's good.
14 and a half, yeah, I think so too. So draw to the button then basically, right? Like a 15?
Yeah.
Well, you heard. Just get confirmation on the weight,
All right, Chelsea.
what they're playing.
You got it. Go a bit. 109.
Didn't give it any.
Clean it, please.
Mine's good.
No, on its own.
They said about 15 on the time you see bottom left of your screen.
Go.
Need a piece of the 4-foot to score 1. Peters is working this one hard.
Hard, lady!
Facing 3. Got to get this one to the 8-foot to
I
cut
think
it
they're
down.
short. Will it be more than 1? It's at least one. I think it's a steal of two. So Chelsea Carey comes short with that attempted last draw, and it's a steal of two for Korea.
I'm going to look at these. One for sure.
Oh, I'm not sure why Amy Nixon thinks they need to measure that one.
I think she just wants a closer look at.
Two it is.
I think she wanted to make sure just they weren't. We've seen some controversies over between language barriers so far, but it is a steal of two.
Korea leads it 2-0 after two.
Well, the first score of the game, pardon me, comes as a steal by the Korean side. 2-0. They lead Canada. 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. We are live from the Credit Union Iplex in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Canada.
And we were talking through the break, and this has been a bit of a characteristic for this Canadian team. Fantastic on the hits, but in several situations when the teams needed a saving draw, skip Chelsea Carey has come up short. And it's one of these situations as a kind of an old school curler myself. The new sweeping technique of just using one sweeper on a draw puzzles me.
Yeah, we're both definitely thinking the same way. You put an extra brush on. It was close for second shot. And if you a little bit more, it may be just a steal one. I don't know if they can get it there for their one, but it's.
Yeah, they would have definitely cut them down at the worst.
Nonetheless, Canada has to treat it. Basically, in your mind, they had the hammer, they scored a two. We got to score two back with the hammer now.
Needs to curl,
Yeah.
but it should go now, crossing the line.
That kind of end
Needs to curl.
for the Canadians with the hammer probably feels to them like a bit of a slap in the face, a wake-up call. What they have to do is not let that turn into anger and try to take unnecessary risks, but full credit to the Koreans. Min-ji made the perfect setup shot, that incredible shot around the guard to really set that end up for Korea. Like it to straddle the center line. They don't really want it to come into the rings.
Well, it listened to you and them. But the tight guard, now a chance where they'll play hit and roll underneath.
Very tight to the rings. Updating another game. Erica Brown's United States team versus Daniela Drendel's German team. Last shot here for Germany.
She had a tough game this morning and trying to run it back through the hole, just sort of pinballs, and it is that one yellow stone in there. That's the stolen point. So Erica Brown leads 1-0. Still, 4 losses isn't eliminated. You need a lot of things to go your way.
It's turning into a bit of a tough week, too, for this team from Germany. They started the tournament really well, but really struggled right here through the middle part of the round robin. It's a full 11-game round robin for these teams. So Canada's using that corner guard, but it is available to the Koreans. We can see there from this shot over the shoulder. At least half the stone available. Really working it though. They must be flirting with the guard.
Got to get it by.
And they
Touches
wreck.
the front.
And worse, do they put it in front of that other Canadian
They
stone?
do. Look over Scotland and Switzerland. Scotland lying 2 and it is in a forced position. So Binya Felcher looking to play the hit. Take her 1. Of course, the 2014 world champion. This game, the 13 world champ and the 14 world champ.
Definite heavyweight battle there, and Felcher hits some sticks, so the Swiss score there 1, but a good force there for the Scots.
Looking to separate those 2 yellow stones.
I missed it, sorry. I think it was pretty close. Yeah, it looks good to me.
So Canada with a little something going here. They're lying 2. Dead level, so no double here. Lee Sulby going to be asked to hit that stone and roll it a bit to the right as we're looking at it. Just close up the house a little bit. Just on the nose.
Is this just a case trying to exchange stones and maybe get a chance at a double?
Well, they did want to close it up to try and generate a double, definitely. And the angles are kind of interesting now for Canada. Oh, they start them early here in Swift Current.
Well, it is the provincial sport, curling, that declaration, and bringing them to the curling in the middle of the afternoon.
Well, I'd rather come watch curling than nap time. There's an inside roll, little sideways kick. Canada lies 2. So after that bit of a shock, and well, let's see the spelling. Let's decode this. Something rock.
Buy me a vowel?
Something. Yeah, I'll buy a vowel. Great support though from this town of Swift Current. It's not a town, it's a city. It's southwestern Saskatchewan's hub. This agrarian area.
Trying to just jump it over. Second and third belong to this Korean team, and Canada lies shot. Could play a draw to try and set something up. You mentioned the draw numbers compared to the takeout.
Like there.
84% on their takeouts. Draws 78%. So
some teams have a preference, and for me, Chelsea Carey in particular, as an individual, I think clearly has a preference. She'd much rather throw a hit than a draw, generally speaking.
Her roots do come from Manitoba, where it is a hit game. Of course, the province to the east of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I was going to say, why wouldn't you prefer hits when you throw them as well as she does?
Well, Amy Nixon looking to play the double. Works out pretty well.
But because of the way that those Korean stones were positioned, there was no chance for it to flop behind the guard. But nice shot here from Nixon. Removes both Korean stones and leaves Canada lying 2. Minji. Korea's already wrecked on one guard this end. They can't afford to wreck on this one. just by.
And nose hit.
Well, interesting now. If Canada nose hits, outside chance that they don't get the thing on the rings. A little look of relief there from Minji. Grateful for her teammates sweeping that one and holding it, but here's Amy Nixon.
Can't roll too far that it bunches up their stones, but they also have to roll to make sure they're in the house.
Yeah, about a 2-foot roll is what they're looking for here. Nice start. So a decision now for the Koreans. Do you play the top one and try a cross-house double, or do you play the back one and try and hit and roll behind? Looks like the hit and roll in behind is the choice.
Yeah, they have lots of room to roll to, and then it forces play together. And
well, they do have lots of house to roll to, but that's a 6-7 foot roll. That's far from easy.
Well, Koreans go to work. Hit. Now where does the roll go to?
And that was the challenge with such a long roll. Got it thin and rolls out of the house. So a chance for the Canadians here to set up their deuce. There we see Kim Chi. Just a little bit tight with that one. Had to play to hit about half the stone to get behind cover, but just got it a bit thin.
Any chance you like trying to go around those 2 yellow stones?
Well, that's something I would have certainly considered, because if you have a go at it and you feather it, you split them anyways. But of course, if you do come behind, you leave the chance of a double takeout. So splitting the house, it's a more conservative play for your 2. So let's see how Chelsea Carey responds on the draw.
Well, they've seen this path really curl in the first end.
Canadians have the whole house to draw to, however. Canada lies 2. Canadians, you notice, sweeping that one behind the tee line to make the roll, give the Koreans less real estate. There we see the stone just behind that tee line. So if the Koreans roll, they'll go to the back 8 foot. The riskier play for the Koreans would be either to draw around that stone on the left-hand side of our screen. They could also consider the freeze. But either of those choices brings 3 into play. They could also try the thin double, which all things considered might be worth a go, because chances are you're going to drop 2 here anyways.
Well, this is just the interesting dynamic of the team with a 4th stone thrower. The skip's calling it. Sometimes as a thrower, you like to see it, especially last stone of the end for your team.
That's right.
And this risky too. If you hit and roll out, they could try and split that one in.
It's a longish split, but it is there. And if you're Canada, you'd probably try it. Now the Gim's going to come down and have a look.
Well, she comes down. The hit and roll, if you roll out, does Canada try and play a split? Or do they draw for 2?
If you roll out, then I think you do throw a draw down that path. But that stone's about a foot off the rings, so you also run the risk of hitting a third of it, and then all of a sudden you're scoring 1 and you look silly. So Korea elects for safety here. Here we see the Korean bench. Coach Shin Dong-ho on the right looking on. Kim Chi rolled out on her first one, so that might be in the back of her mind as well.
Now, big weight to try and get as far a roll as possible. There's the hit.
Just about on the beak. That's not surprising when you see a team hit and roll out on the first one. You'll usually find that the second one's a little heavier and a little wider. So a pretty routine chance here for Canada to level the game. Open hit for Chelsea Carey to score 2.
Easy, normal. Okay. Should go pretty straight.
Yeah. 저거 얇게 때리려다가 칙할 수도 있잖아. 물론 때리는 건 근데 한 번씩 꺼내서 하니까.
This is where my peel for my blank, like similar to where it curled a bit, so just stay close to it. But
Okay.
we got the whole house on this side. So.
Okay. Trust yourself. You got it.
Trust this one, Chelsea.
So final stone of this third end. Got a hit and stick. Score 2, tie this game up. Just cleaning it up. Nicely done. Canada responds. They get 2 right back. Doesn't bother them. We're all tied up 2 apiece after 3.
Good end, you guys. Nice stick there.
Thanks. You like that weight?
Yeah, I don't think it was down at all.
Yeah.
Well, back inside the Credit Union iPlex, we are in swift current, 2 hours west of the provincial capital, Regina. You see Lainey Peters, 85% for the tournament.
Got lots of room, but it's got to be in the house.
Here, 4 next. Full 4, 5.
All you got, all you got, all you got, all you got.
Joining us up here in the media area here at the iPlex is WCF President Kate Caithness,
Okay, 4-9.
looking over the action.
Very nice, Nixon.
Keeping us in check. Got to be on our best behavior now, but we always are.
Kim Ji-sun having a nice tournament, 88% so far in the tournament for her. Sweepers working this one pretty hard. Like this guard a little bit tighter, about halfway if they can get it there. Good sweeping effort from the Koreans.
Must be the first time they've had the hammer. We'll see how they try to utilize it, what offensive tactics they use.
Well, that's right, Luke. In spite of dropping that 2-point end, that steal in the second, for the Koreans, this is just kind of like winning the coin toss or getting the hammer in the first end. So it's like starting the game over, and now you've got last rock in the fourth. So
You're there.
good start here from the Korean team.
They're curling if anything.
Careful. Is there any chance?
Well, they wanted to stop in front of the rings. They want, as it's over curling as well, but you can see almost all of that.
Stone stays just short of the ring, so that means it's still in the free guard zone. That means that the Koreans can't hit it, or they can move it, but they can't remove it from play. Free guard zone rule in effect for the first 4 stones of the end. This is the 4th stone of the end. Little inside roll, nice shot.
Yeah, enough to make that little roll for
Just hides a corner.
this Korean team, full-time curlers, with the funding and the Olympic Games going to their nation. The added pressure, and you look, they're not quite on, and where that one sits.
2/3 of the stone available for Canadian second Jocelyn Peterman. Really working this one. Lainey Peters trying to hold it straight, but I don't know if she's by. Just by. Well swept by Lainey Peters. That'll be a cool beverage, I think, that Peterman owns Peters tonight. Big smile from Jocelyn. And we see Lainey Peters directional sweeping, trying to hold that line. Just getting it by. Look how close that was to the guard.
Well, quite a difference in the age of the front end for that Canadian team. Lainey, 46.
Obviously still in very good physical condition.
And then 22 for Jocelyn Peterman. As you see the little roll underneath right back.
Nice shot. Yeah, it's always interesting hearing from people who are watching curling as casual spectators and thinking, well, it doesn't look very athletic. Try playing 10 ends and sweeping coast to coast and tell us how you feel about it after that.
Well, Lainey's still doing it at an age where you're saying older for a lot of the players in this field. Runs that one back, though. Nicely done to set one in behind.
Yes, and Lainey is more than holding her own. Of course, sweeping is about more than brute strength. It's also judgment, knowing when to sweep, especially on a draw. Lee Solby throwing third stones, also with a tournament percentage of 88%. So statistically, very strong. Trying to come around this corner guard.
Well, trying to use both those sweepers. We talked about it in that last end after the steal by the Korean side. Just the difference isn't with the sweeping. Sometimes you're going for that directional. On the draw, you're seeing the Korean side, both sweepers going at it in order to get that extra length and drag it further.
Yeah, for me, when line's okay on a draw and it's quite clear you've got a good path and you need a bit of distance, 2 sweepers is definitely the way to go. Here's Amy Nixon. Canadians want this to curl.
Changing it, I think, here to try and go around that one.
A little action. They're trying to get some action off their own, but they blow by everything and back into the hack. Mistake there from the Canadians.
You know, they were relaying the information. They're trying to make something happen, and it just didn't get there soon enough to make that call. Goes right through.
Yeah, just looking for about back forefoot weight there, but got about 6 feet more than that.
At the end, Chelsea was calling to
Yeah.
not just go around it, but get the little rub off their own.
She was playing to try and get a feather off of that yellow one because at that point it was plan C. Wasn't even plan B anymore. Minji, nice opportunity now for the Koreans. Let's see if they can capitalize. Trying to bury around those 2 yellow center guards. Looks like plenty of weight.
I wanted it in
just
front
to
of the
finish
tee
it.
line. Didn't want to go too far, take it deep, sits right on the button, maybe just half a rock too deep.
So Korea's lying 2, but updating another game, a crucial playoff match. Scotland leading 2-1. Eve Muirhead.
Run back, looks like has second shot in the back part of the rings. Make this avoid the jam and could score 2. Well, make contact.
But jams on the back one.
Still fortunate, able to get there 1. So
Well, wow.
very close to getting that, but it is just a single point for Scotland.
Close to dropping a steal as well, so very interesting. And another mistake here from Amy Nixon on the draw.
Hot again.
Get on that? 4-2. Okay. It's really nice there next. Okay.
Bit of encouragement there from Jocelyn Peterman, but net result, back of the forefoot when she was looking for a corner freeze.
좀 다시 봐줘요. 비슷하게 던져볼게요.
Minji, another opportunity to blast another one into that button area. Called off immediately, so that tells me they're a little bit worried about the line. Now they're on it. Less weight, so this one is really moving. The sweepers are really pounding it. Much, much lighter. Can they get by the guard? Just by the guard. Now can they get second shot? Comes to rest full in the 8-foot, but just short. So Korea's lying third, first and third. Great sweeping there, but that one needed about 2 feet more weight. Here we see the sweepers doing everything they can to try and drag this stone into the button area, but it just comes slightly short. But there we see him lined up all along the tightrope. What will the Canadians do? Let's listen.
Well, but the problem is if you punch that through the hole, it's a disaster. I think this is a shot, isn't it? Even here is not bad. Okay. I had you there, so I'm thinking that to get by, we've got to get by to 6,
It's
eh?
like, you know,
Okay.
same as 2 ends ago, Chelsea. So
Yeah.
like 4-7, 4-8. Yeah. So what's she throwing in practice or a little quicker? Not like a 20, hey?
So Chelsea Carey is going to throw the out turn draw. Gonna try and freeze that stone on the button.
All right, Chelsea. Top button.
Yeah, even just bite 4 foot's okay as long as they have the line. Like short's
Sounds-
okay.
So it's
Just gotta
real
be
nice here.
third shot
Yeah. Okay.
for sure. I mean, if you have the line go right to it, it's great. But
Just trying to close in
It
that
is nice
scoring
here.
zone.
yeah, I had 14 and a bit on Amy's, so I probably need to give you at least a 14.5,
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
14.6.
the one that she just threw.
15 and it's almost,
Yeah.
it's full 8.
Okay.
So I'm thinking 14.8 even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
So very similar to what you're throwing in draw to the button.
Okay, so like a 15.20 with a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just agreeing the split times that they want to throw. That's how hard that Chelsea Carey's going to throw this stone. They use the stopwatches to gauge their distance.
10. Where?
Boom.
All there.
Line's good.
So this,
I don't think so.
Chelsea Carey, a full-time curler.
7. Hold it. Pull, lady.
said they were looking for something like 14-8 on the split.
7. 7.
It's pretty close.
Line, lady. 7.
Should be all line now. Wait,
Nope. Nope. Nope.
pretty good there, right to the side. Just
I think she's going to be. Going to be disappointed in that. She wanted to be at least third shot, but has she left the double takeout here for the Koreans to get 4 maybe, or lie 4 at least? Looking for this to come to rest somewhere in the front of the 4-foot circle, but you can see that the stone glides back to that tee line. She was trying to throw about 14.8 on the split. She threw a 14.5. Incredibly small difference in time there, but the net result is a big opportunity for the Koreans to generate a potential big end here.
So 4th stones. Gimanchi try and put one right. Even move it a little bit, but just into the pocket is okay.
Oh, well, it isn't. Yeah, into the pocket's good, but you're going to need to move it a little bit if you're going to try and make sure you're lying second shot. So perfect weight here is probably just back 4-foot weight, back button. You can sweep it for the bump. The line is critical. Sweepers are worried about the weight, but I'd be more worried about the line. I think they overswept it. Get a little bump.
There might be enough of an opening to try and throw weight at it, but the risk is you could give up even more if you're throwing weight and hit it wrong.
I think that was a sweeping error because that stone had to curl more. Korea's lying 2, but
they're already 2, so even if you just get to the nose, it's not terrible, right?
Yeah. Just like a smidge more weight?
2 feet more, yeah. Like 14, 14.1.
Yeah, like this weight.
Yeah.
just going to play quiet weight. She could also play the double takeout on the outside red stone, but some risk there, obviously, if you
that could bring
come
4
narrow,
or 5
that,
into play.
That could turn out terribly.
I know there's not really a miss, but if we're
I think
going
it's tight because even if we did this, it's probably better than boom and leaving it open for her to come.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Korea's playing the red stones.
If we're on the inside of it,
They're
we might
lying
stay
first
there,
and
no
second.
problem. If we're on
They've got the
outside,
hammer.
we could just give her the same shot.
I guess you could play this too.
We could. It's pretty tough.
She probably has
Canadian
most of that.
scoring stones are behind that tee line. So all kinds of danger here for the Canadians.
Well, you have to miss it thin. Like if you just nut it there, it's 2. It's not terrible. If you make
Really
it,
tight to the top.
I don't think she can make this for 3.
No,
I'm not even sure she can make it for 2.
you're never going to nut it. You can't. It's always going to be taking it out.
Well, that's even better.
I know. That's what I'm just saying.
Do you like it?
Don't hate it. This is tough. This makes her a pretty tough shot for one, but a tough shot
Like
for
even
you
if
to
you
make
just
too.
tick it sideways, as long as you kill that one.
So they
You like
are,
this double
again,
toss?
they are looking at the double.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Like this is a little bit buried, right? So
But then, yeah,
There is some danger there, but
Lay
Chelsea
it.
Carey thinks the danger is actually pretty low. The danger, obviously, if that red
Like, I don't think she
slams
can do
directly
much with
back
that.
on that
I
Canadian
don't think
stone.
she could get both of them out. Hey, good job.
half or less, eh? Even a third's money, isn't it?
It is. I think it's pretty tough to be too thin.
Yeah.
I don't want to take any more ice.
No,
than
no,
that, though.
I don't either.
Because
It's good.
we played the double. How much are the yellows? It's like more than half. But they're pretty close. Like, I don't think she could get both.
So the call is the double takeout. She's going to try and hit half of that red rock.
Just make the double.
Danger here is if she over curls.
Looks like a lot of ice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What kind of weight?
The
You'd
other
rather miss
danger,
it thin.
Easy peel.
the
I
other,
think we could hold it
the other
pretty good
danger, of
for
course,
fun.
is just
Yeah.
blowing it right by
Like
everything.
thin's the miss, but we got to hit it.
Yeah.
Little less.
All right, Chelsea. Nice throw here.
A third's perfect, I think.
Okay.
Third to a half.
Trust it, Chelsea. You got it.
Trying to make both of these go away. On it right away.
On it right away.
You got it.
Catch it thin. Make both the reds go away. But the question is, they lose that one. They lose one of the back yellows that was a saver. Is there a quiet tap? Can you get to it?
Well, and it's tricky, but is there a play on the intern side as well? There we see 1, 2. Both of the Korean stones roll out, but they also lose that back yellow stone. Got good action on that yellow shot, though. Did push it right behind the guard. was saying, is there a double raise here?
아니면 이거 세게
이
때리지
스톤이
말고
언니
그냥 밀어.
여기까지 가려면 얘 여기 맞아야 돼요.
그러니까
안 돼.
I'm not sure that I wouldn't be tempted to try and play back 8-foot weight at the shot rock.
With the outturn, try
The
and draw it.
outturn.
얘가 얇게 때리면 얘가 맞지 않아.
Don't have to move it too far.
Have to move it 2 feet to get 2.
일단 시도해볼래? 이게 이렇게
4 feet probably to score 3.
4 feet to score 3, but what they're looking at here is just can they play that Yellowstone super thin across the face of that red one, drive it straight back. The danger there, though, is I think they could run up straight back on their own stone and wind up maybe dropping 1 or 2. So I think the safer play is the outturn. Safer because if you make it but don't push it back for shot, then at least you get 1.
오케이.
Score's tied, and they're looking at the angle, so it looks like they're going to give it a try.
Interesting, they didn't even look at the outturn. We're all just sizing up this angle.
어떤 거?
Now they're thinking about the outturn,
보이는 만큼 때려요.
No?
그냥.
근데 보이게는
but they're
This will
still,
be fun.
they're still checking the angles. It's maximum possible. That's a fantastic shot. That's exactly where they're trying to hit it.
은재 여기.
Just to clip a tiny corner of that red one going across it, and that would drive the redstone straight back along that center line.
빨간 게.
And
Tough,
it's
tough
just to
shot,
score
though.
2. I think you.
It's only for 2, and you know what, Luke? I think if it comes off that Yellowstone, they could wind up doubling off their own shot on the 8-foot and rolling it out. So
Changing it up. They don't like it.
I
The
think
risk in there.
this is a much smarter play.
The draw, and if you can sweep it to tap it back, score 2.
They're both tough shots for 2, but this is much lower risk. Final stone here for Korea. Kim Un-chi trying to throw about back 8-foot weight, trying to move this stone to try and score 2 and maybe 3.
Well, once they're by, they can go.
So they're by the guard.
Pass.
They've got 1.
And just playing for the 1.
That's a good shot. And Korea scores 1 after all of that. What an exciting fourth end. Kim Un-chi drills 1 on the lid.
Gets her 1. And a 1-point lead, 3-2. Through 4 ends here. It's the Credit Union iPlex in Swift Current, Canada.
우리도 2개 따고 싶지.
잘 시작. 괜찮아.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlob with you. I'm proud to bring you this coverage of a 3-2 game.
There's a good opportunity there for the Koreans, but a slight oversweep on the skip's first stone gave Chelsea Carey a chance to make a tough double, which she did make. Koreans had a really challenging shot to save their 1. Maybe an outside chance to make a play for a 2, but net result, Korea 3, Canada 2, and Canada has the hammer.
And after all that discussion, I think a smart decision by Korea. Play that out, turn the. They were looking at an angle on the at the top.
Yeah.
I don't.
It was a risky shot.
Was there?
It was there. It was probably about a 5%er in terms of probabilities, but it was there.
Like Stella put it there a little bit.
But one of those ones where things could have gone horribly wrong, and if you drop a steal of 2 or something silly like that in that situation, then you wind up kicking yourself.
And I think that's something that they'll gain from this, coming in at a 3-5 record. Playoffs not likely, but building towards. We'll continue to say the 2018 Olympic Winter Games. They'll come around here for Lainey Peters, top part of the house, nicely done. See the freeze following it right back up. As we do that, we'll jump over and look at Scotland, Switzerland. Scotland 7-1. They are rolling a little bit. Pressure on Binya Felcher. Make this shot.
Yeah, lots of red Scottish stones sitting in the forefoot, so this is obviously a tough one for Binya.
Well, get by, and we'll end up leaving a couple. That one in the top, I think, outcounts one of them. It took a look, and it looks like a steal of 2 for Scotland. Eve Muirhead, after dropping their first, they've now won 7 straight games.
So that Scottish train is definitely rolling now.
Well, Eve Muirhead has some, as I said, unfinished business from the Worlds here in 2010, losing the final to Andrea Schopp, losing the European final just in the last part of the 2015 calendar year to Russia. They got some redemption earlier today for that loss, 7-1, defeating Russia.
Well, that's right, Luke. And so if Scotland can hang on in this one, that would take them to 8-1 and pretty much lock up a playoff place for themselves.
Mathematically, it doesn't, but
a lot of things would have to go very wrong for them not to be
it would
at least a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it would guarantee a tiebreaker at worst.
Yeah.
Stay close for line. 6.
But obviously, look in the top 4 make the playoffs. Top 2 teams playing that 1-2 game with 2 lives in the playoffs, whereas the 3 and 4 are in sudden death.
Keep going with that. It's coming down.
No bounce.
And 6.
Nice, Lainey.
I was like anywhere from a 9 to a 4. Stopping.
아, 3분의 1 좀 덜어요. 3분의 1.
4분의 1.
Well, once again, another cluster of stones along that center line.
We have seen this looking over, seeing Korean games. They like to play around the center line without the hammer.
Well, that's old school curling if you're going for the steal. You throw up a center guard and then you come around it, but when your opponent's doing it too, pretty soon it looks like a freeway at rush hour.
Especially in Swift Current.
Yeah. Swift Current, the rush hour, we've got more 4x4s and pickups there, but can get busy here nonetheless.
Sylvie Lee. Again, a big scrub from the Korean side.
They don't want to touch that Yellowstone trying to sweep it by. Just do.
Very nice little tap.
So good angles now for Korea, even though that Canadian stone is in shot position. Those 2 red stones are lined up to be able to pick it out. And look how close they come to this stone in the top 12 foot. Extreme close up and extremely close. Great sweeping there from the Koreans.
You have to hit it a hair high or else it's jamming on this. Okay.
We talked about those stones being lined up, so Chelsea Carey aware of the jam. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Imagine Peterman's going to try and hit this one high and try and go across the face of that back red one.
Just didn't look, sometimes in the hack, it just doesn't look good to the eye
No.
for the weight that's called. And you got to trust it.
Trust is important, but execution's even more important, and this one is wrecking on the guard.
Well, pushes it off to the corner.
Canada won't mind that too much.
See that as a very, as a miss if you're going to play it close and miss that one on the guard.
Yeah. So now there's some access into the rings for both teams.
여기 노란 게 앞에 있어요. 야, 아웃턴으로 오자.
웨이트는요?
노멀로 어때?
네.
힐은 가야지 나갈 것 같은데. 괜찮아?
노마라도 괜찮을 것 같아.
아니야, 노멀로 라인 노멀로.
파이팅.
내가 파괴 안 할게.
네.
Opportunity here for a double takeout.
오! 오! 야! 오! 야!
Yes, no usually means they're close.
Slash it right over the top. Keeps their shooter, pushes that one out on the side. It's shot stone now for the Koreans.
어떻게 나 어디로 가?
So Lee Solby
일로 가야 돼.
smiles, but she knows that hit this one a little thinner. They might have made the double. Instead, they stuffed the Canadian stone, and it pushes over
가만 있어야 돼.
into the 8-foot circle for second shot.
오케이.
So a chance now for Peterman to redeem herself after crashing the guard on her first. Chance to make a double takeout here.
오.
레이니.
오. 야, 레이니. 오, 오, 오. 와우.
Wow.
That's good.
Well, they ended up touching that one. They were actually sweeping to get the curl, and then it went and doesn't make the double.
That one moved very suddenly. I wonder if it didn't pick something up.
컨트롤.
컨트롤이 편해.
오케이.
It is Canada with the hammer here in this fifth end. Third stones. Hit here, lie. 2, Minji.
오. 그냥. 얍. 살짝 있어. 얍. 오. 오. 살짝 있어. 웨이트. 오. 밀어야 돼. 오. 웨이트가
Well, where does it roll? Does it leave Canada's second shot in the top part of the house?
졌어.
Yeah, something brewing here.
Easy.
Stones spread right across the front of the house. Amy Nixon here for the Canadians.
Easy. Just
Close.
easy.
Yep. Whoa.
Just easy, Chelsea.
Close. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah. Hard.
Hard. Okay.
Pretty much on
Good
the
throw.
nose.
Problem is they're all clustered together now.
Well, they are. So those two yellow stones are
하나씩 갈까?
double takeout candidates for the Koreans.
나오면 해요.
Just checking the angles to make sure there's no jams.
더블.
No.
더블 안 돼, 언니?
살짝 얇아야 돼.
해요. 괜찮아요, 언니.
이렇게 돼 있어.
해.
가까울 때 하는 게 낫지 않아? 웨이트 편한 게 뭐야?
아웃터.
아 웨이트. 오케이.
노멀이었어? 노멀.
파이팅. 네. 얇게 따면 되는 거 아니야?
맞아. 약간 이렇게 돼 있어.
네.
Minji.
왜 좋아?
오. 야. 오. 오. 야.
1, 2.
가자.
Well, push that one out and actually roll their shooter out as well.
해야 되거든.
Lots of speed on that one. Minji makes the double, but isn't in that position for the force. After watch this one spin right up.
우집이야.
진짜 얇아서 해야 되거든.
Yeah, that red stone basically made a U-turn.
Just check.
Close.
Just check.
Whoa. Whoa. Feel like it's lots.
Okay.
Playing in number 5.
Whoa.
Canada trails 3-2, but they've got the hammer.
Whoa. Whoa. Just. 11-3.
So trading hits after that double. Unless someone can make that roll underneath. Could be shaping up blank end, but with all those ones around, have to be precise with these hits.
Lots of stones in the front of the area, but they are off to the wing. Kim-Chi, Korean 4th stone.
야! 아니 와! 야! 라인 좋아! 라인 좋아! 헐! 끝까지 와야 돼! 헐! 워! 오케이.
Looking for a little inside roll. They swept that one pretty conservatively. They didn't really have much house to roll to. Would have loved to be an outside roll.
Same weight that you threw. Yours was bumper.
So let's have a look at how the 4th end shaped up. There was tons and tons of rocks in play. Chelsea Carey, after the Koreans left the tiniest of opportunities, makes a nice double takeout, leaving the Canadians lying 1.
And after a long discussion, what to play, thought you could actually play the little tap. They were playing it just to get their 1.
Close to the guard, and it settles right on top of that Canadian stone, and it's a deep breath and a sigh of relief, and a 1 point on the board for the Koreans.
All that and just 1 point.
Well, it happens that way sometimes. You got tons and tons of rocks in play, and it's looking like somebody's going to steal 2 or take 2, and then it's a 1.
Just bumper. Clean. Clean's good.
Whoa!
Good bump.
Close! Whoa! Joss!
Couple. Just. Whoa.
Yep.
Carey would love the roll.
Just to hang around as well, but it rolls out of the rings.
And that was the risk.
Got a little cute with it.
Wow.
She had
Sorry,
even less house to roll to than
Nice weight.
Kim-Chi.
Now be forced to.
Well, I'd be tempted to split one of these.
Sorry,
I would
yours-
be
when
too.
she went
The
yours,
stones
it
on.
didn't do anything, so I didn't think she would have that much effect on it.
We see that she has maybe 3 inches of house to roll to, so the Canadians are cheekily trying to get an outside roll, but had tiny little bit of real estate to use, and off the ring it goes. So a chance here for the Koreans rather, to set up the force. Going
Looks
to
like-
try and draw around the corner guards.
And if it over curls, then maybe you look at the split.
Well, I think if you're playing split, you play that right from the outset, so you could split either the thrown stone or the 2 stones themselves. So this is just a straight draw. This one's really moving, though. I think it's short. Oh,
They failed to
disaster.
get anything in.
So a huge let-off for the Canadians.
And they've seen this path. We have seen them throw a couple in this spot.
Well, with the hammer here, I think Chelsea Carey will just hammer this one through and keep the last rock into the 6th
Oh,
end.
pardon me, I was thinking of a rock earlier.
So the split was definitely there, but attempting the straight draw, but it over curls and
Yeah, there was a
free
bunch on the
shot
rock
for a
still,
blank.
too.
Oh, okay.
Well, is the last stone, so won't be drawing behind. We'll be throwing this one through to retain hammer.
In case you forgot.
Well, some chuckles there from Team Canada. They get their blank. Retain hammer into the 6th end.
That was 5.
Have we switched the rooms?
아, 컴이 더 좋아. 컴도 좋아. 아, 하긴 그래. 컴 좋지. 그치, 컴이 더 좋지. 안 되겠어. 1번 플랫은 컴이야. 내가 표를 안 했어. 2번 플랫이 레이팅을 잘 모르겠어.
감사합니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Highlights here from the second end of the game.
Chelsea, you got it.
Chelsea Carey
Go a bit.
109.
drawing against 3, but only one sweeper, and it comes up short. And Korea steals 2. Stunning the local crowd here in Swift Current. Now in the third end. Much easier shot here for Carey. An open hit attempt to try and score 2. Makes it perfect, and Canada levels the score. And then in the fourth, Yellowstone belongs to Canada, perfectly buried behind the center guards. Last stone for Gimun Chi. Nice job from her sweepers, and this stone comes to rest in the back of the button, and it's 1 for Korea. Four sheets of action here in the afternoon draw in Swift Current, so let's take a look at Germany versus the USA. Germans playing the Redstones, and Daniela Drendel with her last shot in the fifth. Looks like she needs a piece of the forefoot. They're saying there's no line yet, so the stone has to curl. Some disappointment there, so it's a steal of 1 to the States, and Drendel's puzzled. So looking at our other games here in the afternoon draw, Sweden leads Denmark 3-1 at the fifth end break. We saw just there that Erica Brown in the United States, they're on a bit of a roll now, and they're leading Germany 3-1. Eve Muirhead from Scotland in this battle of the heavyweights leads Benia Felcher 5-1. Some healthy snacks for the Korean team at the fifth end break.
We'll see if there's any leftovers to bring up to us.
That would be awesome. It's a great New Zealand rugby tradition. Oranges at halftime.
Well, it wasn't even it was just where it ended up.
Some less healthy snacks for the Canadians. I see a few jet planes there, but
it was more the line of it than the
it's good for sugar.
weight, really. I don't know. You can still do something with a card like that, but it just sucked where
but there's some fruit as
the
well.
line of it was.
I need to think though. Thinking the same time all the time when I'm following somebody down. I need to think like 2 feet less than that.
This Canadian team is always looking at the weights. And here are the statistics after 5, Luke.
Yeah, looking percentage overall, even there, draws advantage for the Korean side. Well, the hits to the Canadians. We're not really surprised about that, but those 2 stolen points on a draw coming up well short of the forefoot. Ends up being a steal of 2. That leaves us with a 3-2 margin. Canada is the hammer. 5 ends remaining. An important game for Canada.
Yeah.
Looking at the standings, if they want to get into that 1-2 game, have to win this. They know they still have a tough finish ahead of them. They'll play Finland tonight. I know they still have a game against Scotland tomorrow.
As well as this exciting young Japanese team, I believe.
Yes.
So the road home challenging for everybody. But the Canadians will be focused on the business right here, right now. To use those wonderful sports cliches, 1 game at a time, 1 shot at a time. But this one's pretty evenly poised, could go either way.
It is, and even despite the 3-5 record, Korea hasn't been out of their element. They've been right there with everyone. Some tight games throughout. And another one here.
As I said on the intro, I've been waiting for this Korean team to catch fire this week. They were my dark horse pick for a team to get on a roll and sneak into the playoffs, but 5 losses, that's not going to happen, but they still want to finish strong.
Yeah, some years 5 losses, you have that possibility.
So, Korean skip Kim Ji-sun throwing the lead stones.
Yeah, one of two teams with the skip to throw lead stones. The other one, obviously, is well documented. The Swedish skip, Margareta Sigfridsson.
If you're new to curling, most teams have the fourth stone thrower holding the broom. Keeping an eye on the other games here in the sheets.
You like 16? Yes.
Let's have a look at that Swedish team now against Denmark. Sweden leading it 3-1, but it's the final stone here for Denmark's Lenny Nielsen.
Trying this run back, just sneak by the front to try and pick out the red.
And lots of rocks in play here.
And it over curls just a little. Very close to picking that one out.
Yeah, that looked like a tough shot. She was going to flirt with those front two stones as well. So steal for Sweden, and they're
Good throw, Lainey.
out in front with a comfortable 4-1 lead.
Time to vote there again.
Not normally seeing that Sweden team with that record. They won their first game, lost 6 straight. Got a win earlier today to break that up and try to make it 2 in a row.
Yes, thanks to WCF statistician Paul Algren. He let us know overnight that no Swedish women's team's ever lost more than 6 games at a Women's Worlds. And we're certainly surprised to see this Swedish team on 6 losses. But as you say, Luke, got a win this morning to right the ship and leading in this one.
Momentum is a big thing, and
Yeah, if only you could bottle it and buy it. Been lots of games that my team's been involved in where I would have loved to have a bottle of momentum just available to open somehow.
exactly. As we look at numbers, good. Both leads in the 90%, high 90s. 95 for Peters, 98 for Kim Ji-sun. Will make that nose hit. Not necessarily they had to kick that one out, just move it out from the 4-foot area.
Korea playing the red stones. Canada playing the yellow stones. Let me get a great look at it. Lee Solby, very consistent this week. This one's going to roll away though, so that's a half shot.
Man, early advantage in this one, this end for Canada now. They can go around the corner.
Yes, sets up well here for Team Canada. They do have the hammer. Last rock advantage. Jocelyn Peterman having a nice game today. 93%.
Room next. Me, right? 9.
Got room.
9.
Well, I hear them calling 9. That's
deep.
Right near the back of the house.
What'd you get, Chelsea?
And that's
3-5.
would technically be a 10, back 12.
Yes.
According to a number system, with 7 being a T-line draw, 3 being a tight guard, and every
I didn't think I kicked very hard.
step further back would be to the 10. But it is behind cover, partially.
Yeah, it kind of works. Means you can use the corner guard again, of course, if you're Canada. Right on the nose.
Just lots of separation between them, and probably see Canada just ignore it again. We are in the even ends, so start thinking of scoring in these ends.
Yep, this one's setting up like somebody's going to score in this end. Either Korea's going to succeed in generating a force, or Canada's going to score a 2 or more.
Yep. We're okay.
Lainey Peters working this one hard. Peterman was about 6 feet heavy with her last one. So she's taken something off this one.
8, yep, 10B. Me.
Pretty close to the weight. Nice shot.
Well, it wasn't the call, but plan B is to take it back and put it right on the face of it.
No, nothing wrong with that, Luke. It's in a very good spot.
What was that, a 4? Chelsea?
So that's a longish corner guard, but generating a lot of activity now. Here's Min-ji, playing at 93%.
웨이트만. 라인 굿. 라인 굿. 라인 좋아. 슬비야 라인 좋아. 워. 3명 기다려야 돼.
Well by the guard.
Well, the question is, do they move it, or what's second shot?
There we see the angles. Redstone belongs to Korea. Corner frozen, but also corner frozen for a jam, so chance that Amy Nixon may be able to get across the face of this one.
She killed it a bit. Back line! Through the rings!
Well, Amy is down at 70, had missed a couple of draws.
Positive weight, so this one's tracking a little straighter. About backline weight, the sweepers were saying. Finishing now.
That's good. 3-2.
So those stones are gradually creeping towards the tee line. Canada with the hammer. Korea now to try and put another brick on the wall. I think they've overswept a couple, and I think this one's been slightly overswept as well, but now it comes to rest.
This is, we're playing behind the tee line. All those stones now 5 all behind. Make a good freeze, and
Well, she wants to tab at half rock. So 14 and a half, I think.
Yeah, so we said that
That was a 4-3.
the likely result in this end was somebody was going to score.
Okay with that next? Yeah. Okay.
Feel increasingly confident in that prediction. Here's Amy Nixon.
Weight's close. Just to it. 6. Gotta go.
Hard then.
Go, 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 go.
D-line.
Chelsea. Go, go, go.
Calling for Chelsea Carey to come out and help sweep. They're worried about the weight. Lainey Peters working it hard. Now 2 sweepers on it.
Gotta go to it. Mine's good, though. Keep going, keep
well, they wanted to bump it a little bit.
Oh, great sweeping by Peters.
Well, I guess you got to say great sweep to Chelsea Carey, too. She came and did a little work.
Yeah, as a skip myself, you know, come out and wave the broom a few times and
Hope to
feel
not
like
slow it down.
feel like you've done your part. There's Lainey Peters doing the bulk of the work on this one. People are saying, why isn't Jocelyn Peterman sweeping? Well, Luke, I know you were talking with one of the teams last night, and they feel that some of the brooms carved the ice maybe a fraction more than the other ones, and so
Just the difference in the fabric and the head that they're using, so there's a slight difference. That's why you see some of the broom shuffling out there also. Make sure, depending on what you have, there's a strategy to which broom which sweeper has and what type of shot you're playing. Probably go on for a while to try and explain numerous situations, but
So those stones in the back of the circle looking a bit like half a flock of Canadian geese flying south for the winter.
now we're in front of the tee line. Now it has to be important, the angle on these freezes.
This one looks a little warm for that, Luke. This one's going to bump and roll.
So a minor mistake,
Yeah.
the extra weight, and see if Canada can take advantage of this opening.
So great chance for the Canadians now after a succession of freezes and corner freezes. Now there's a pocket to roll to.
Might be a double there for us.
Yeah.
This is no good.
No, yeah. We have to be second though, but I think even if we come into that one, we should be, shouldn't we?
I like it. Yep.
Okay. Normal. Even
there's-
firm.
I like firm.
There's a very inviting pocket to roll to,
With the outturn.
right behind the shot rock.
Let's go, bud.
There we see the brush. Chelsea Carey said she's going to throw firm weight,
Guys.
Outturn with firm.
so she's going to try and, that's her contact point. She'll try and make
Gotta roll
contact
underneath.
with that red rock
We
exactly
can
where
make the
Amy
straight
Nixon's
double
broom
into
is.
our own. It's
There you
okay
see
as
the
long as we
target
stick
line.
for a second behind the
If she does that,
shot rock. there.
she'll roll behind the shot rock
Firm. Just firm. Yeah.
and lie two. If she gets a good break, maybe even push that red Korean stone sideways to lie three. Ooh, a little unsteady out of the hack.
Well, 89% on the game, trying to run this one into the pocket with the roll.
Looking for it to curl. No curl there. Oh, yes.
Roll
nice
right in.
finish. That's a great shot.
Knew they had that pocket. They get the curl, roll it in there.
That's the one I was talking about. It's really nice throw.
Look at the action.
Nice.
Just a little graze off that shot in the tee line. Redirects it on the red one, pushes it sideways, and Canada's lying three.
And I don't think Korea can throw any sort of weight at this to try and spill them. I think they got to
No.
play it quiet to get out of this.
They could push that stone back about 3 or 4 inches and sit in front of it. But even if they do that, there'll be a chance for Chelsea Carey to throw some kind of a pick and maybe get 2 or 3 herself. They're saying if we freeze it there, can we just make it hard for her to get 2? Meanwhile, back in our battle of the one-loss teams, Scotland and Switzerland, let's go and have a look at that game. Scotland with a handy 5-1 lead.
But
Amy
even Muirhead,
Felcher, yeah, has a chance here.
even Muirhead missed a double with her final shot, and that left this opening. It's not an easy one. Binya Felcher has to make the hit, avoid the jam in the back, and stick around. Cut the lead in half. Well, makes it look real easy, just a little roll. And Switzerland gets the 2, and it's 5-3.
So 4 ends left to play in that one. So 2014 world champions, they're still in that game. But let's see what happens here. This is a huge shot in the course of this game. Kim Un-chi attempting the freeze. Have to have perfect line and perfect weight. Trying to sweep it for shot. And it just over curls.
If it sits for shot, it actually takes the end away. But now coming up,
maybe leaves Chelsea Carey.
Like you can hit it fairly thick and punch this one onto here.
chap and roll for 3.
Yeah.
Just to draw weight, move it a little bit.
Yeah, that one, the line was more important than the weight. They really had to be just on the inside of that rock, but instead they've slightly overcurled and left some separation. So now Chelsea Carey can really throw running weight at this shot. Tell you what, Luke, the way those things are lined up, well, there's that red stone on the right-hand side, but if she hits inside and spills across the house, she could wind up getting 5. First priority, though, is just to move this Korean stone. She can see about half of it.
Back line for 3. Is back line for 3.
Okay, so now Chelsea Carey's saying, I don't need to throw a heater.
Axe only for 2. We can still get 2 this way as well if it overcurls. As long as we stay on the inside of it, we'll get 2.
Okay, so back line it?
Yeah. So like like Amy's 13-2.
Yeah.
So like a 85, 80.
Yeah. It's pretty nice here. You like that? I do. Okay. I like 85. You got it, tough.
Well, this all line now. Try and chisel that one off. Gotta just chisel it, hold the shooter, stop in time, get the 3.
I think it's only 2.
Just rolls too far. They may have just swept it a little too much, worried about one to make sure they got their 2.
2
and
it
they
is.
do.
Amy
Get the
Nixon,
deuce.
Amy Nixon confirms that it's a 2 score.
You nodded, so.
Chance for a 3 for the Canadians, but they come away with 2. See here, they were looking for a little bit more contact on that redstone. They catch it quite thin and they spill across. Gimmonchi sweeps into the back of the 8-foot, so it's 2 for Canada, but they take the lead.
And score in the even ends. So a 1-point lead, Canada over Korea.
아니 근데 솔직히 그거는 빼고 볼 수 있는 거거든. 다시.
No, sorry, we weren't lying to you. The top one is better than the back one.
I'll take 4.
Well, Chelsea Carey, Team Canada, able to get their 2 with the hammer. And all played around a corner guard, and something teams want to get when they have last rock, play around the corner away from the center and use that final stone, capitalize.
I like her a lot. I know. Okay.
So it is a 1-point lead for Canada over Korea. It is draw 13 from the Ford World Women's Curling Championship.
Yeah.
Luke Coley, Hans
It'll be nice and
Frauenlob.
tight, maybe.
Close game we thought we were going to see. And Korea now is the hammer.
Wait's close.
See how aggressive Korea plays in this end.
Line's pretty good. Line's good. Top 4.
Yeah,
really
so far with the
curling.
hammer in this game, they've only been able to generate a single.
Really curling.
Korea got their deuce with a steal.
Line's good. All
3.
you. All you. Line's great. Line's great.
Where are we? Good.
5-3. You can go a little bit. You're good. Pistol. Good judge, guys.
Well, there we see Gimon Chi holding the broom. Of course, she throws those 4th stones. Kim Ji-sun skip throwing lead.
Trying to tuck one around the center guard, so here we go again.
괜찮아. 하이텐 하이텐. 하이텐. 왜 이러니? 읽어.
Nicely played. I get the feeling we're going to see another one of these ends, Luke, where we've got 4 or 5 stones piled up along that center line.
Wait's close.
Line's good.
Should be all there.
5.
Should be all there.
2 plus. 2
All there.
plus.
Well then.
Back
Room
8.
forever.
Back 8 if we could go.
No,
Joss,
no.
you can go.
No, it really needs to move.
Gotta go. Getting better.
Gotta go. You're okay for line. Just give her. Give her.
Hard.
Yep, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Good. Good sweep, Joss.
Here we are.
3.
Nice shot. Lainey Peters.
Just that little tap, and there's the use of that sweeping where you just wait and figured they were a little out. You can go at the end, try and get that late finish.
Sits out a little bit. They would have liked that one a little bit tighter to the Yellowstone, so there's a chance here for the Canadians to just maybe double those off straight back.
Well, do you make the double or do you make the hit and roll?
Well, I think it's one of those either ors. If you make the hit and roll, the thing is you might just wind up choking yourself off in terms of a path to the button, overlap everything.
Oh, wait, nice.
Lainey, you're gonna have to go on.
10. Lainey. Yep. Solid weight. Right to it, right to it, right to it. Gotta go.
This one's wide, but trying to sweep it to finish. It does jam.
9-6.
Well, it's still shot stone for Korea.
Chance there, another choice for the Koreans. They could hit that one on the outside or just draw one in. There we see both of the options.
Well, it depends what the objective in the end is. You're trying to go for your 2, obviously, or more. You could try and play the hit, keep, if Canada plays a run back, then a blank possibility later on.
Well, you're just down by 1, so I would say hit and roll is probably a higher percentage play if you're just trying to keep the game tight. Have a decent chance for your 2, but reduce the risk of dropping a 1 or 2 yourself.
Silby Lee trying to roll this one in.
Right in the beak.
But it's their stone there as opposed to a Canadian one.
Yep, they do have the hammer, so you don't mind your own stones hanging around on the outer rings. Sometimes you need them late in the end. Flops out to the wing and back for 3rd shot. Well, maybe not.
Second shot?
Might have hung around for 2nd shot. So indicating a possible angle raise on the red onto yellow.
They could even roll over and guard their own by playing this at the same time.
They could. So briefly looked at the red onto yellow angle raise, but now it looks like they're going to clear the front, pick off the 1 on the 4-foot, and roll their own shot in front of that red stone. We think that yellow Canadian stone is probably 2nd shot. There's 1, there's 2, and the roll, the nice shot.
Very nice, clears that center line. Bringing play around the corner. As we look over Scotland, Switzerland, and
wow, lots of rocks in play again, Luke.
Swiss with the 1 on the button. Got 2 in the last end, and Eve Muirhead trying to play a double to bring that other one into play. Well, change of the sweep. Now is it a change of plan? Try and spin them all around. Spin them around and just a steal of 1. So it's a 1-point game.
Well, that game is shaping up to be everything we thought it would be. 2 teams at the top of the standings.
Canada right there, tied for 2nd with Switzerland. Half game back of the top of the standings.
We haven't switched, Chelsea. We haven't switched. Keep going. Can't. We haven't switched.
Not you, Chelsea, you can't. We haven't switched, says Amy Nixon.
Better than her.
But should I have?
No. Okay.
Well, the Canadians, for whatever reason, think that one particular broom in one particular place is kind of poisonous to sweep with.
To drag a stone.
Yeah, to drag a stone. need this one to stick around. Now it's rolling across the house. Can they get it behind the guard?
Great roll, able to
Wow.
get it to the side of the 8-foot. Forces Carey to come after it now.
Well, game on.
Pass on that one. We haven't really thrown this one as much. So
Should be available. Let's look at this fantastic roll. They're sweeping it coast to coast. They were worried about it rolling through the rings, but instead they wind up getting a great roll. Stuffing it behind that corner guard, forcing Amy Nixon to come down and chase it.
Whoa, line.
No line.
Whoa, lady. Gotta go, lady.
C line. No, Joss.
7.
Laney.
It's not 7.
Line's great. C line. Well, room.
6.
Okay, go
7.
then.
Right to it. Go, go, go. Go,
Line's
go,
great.
go.
Line's great. All you got.
Go, go, go. Hard,
Go,
hard,
Laney. Go,
hard.
go, 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 go. Every inch. Every inch. Every inch. Every inch. Every inch. Every inch. Nice shot, Nix. 4-6.
So Canada lies 1. I think she's gotten near enough to that corner guard that there's no inside double for the Koreans. There you see, corners hidden. Straight back double might be on though. If you promote that redstone straight back, could double off both Canadian stones.
얘는 안 돼.
언니 컴이야, 컴. 돌려. 컴.
돌릴 수 있어?
웨이트 좀 여유 있게 갈게요.
Gimmon coming down to have a chat
같이
with
보고 와도 돼. 지금 3분의 2까지 보여요.
아니면 가까워서 그냥 때려도 돼.
Kim Sung.
아, 쉽지 않아.
Big decision.
열어. 열어도 돼.
I like the run. I like the run in this.
Yeah,
Here,
that's-
there's lots of good options that you can get the single one, you could get the double. Worst case, you peel it, you open it up,
yeah, that's
bring those other ones into play.
it
너도
does
맞은데.
increase the chance of that definitely, Luke.
잠깐만 안 맞으면 돼. 편하게.
민지야 그냥 스트레이트로 맞는데 이렇게.
네.
정.
화이팅.
화이팅.
Well, Minji
오. 오, 야.
trying to run this one straight back.
와우. 와우. 와우.
Nope,
Well,
got a piece.
and gets fortunate by missing their own. That's a very fortunate break.
Stick handled that stone right between those two back rocks. That was pretty fortunate.
His nose terrible.
The land of another winter sport in Canada, hockey.
Probably just a
Yes.
rock. Yeah.
Trying to get it on the nose, but instead, just look at that.
Oh, drew it up that way, just
Yeah.
sort of across the face,
Yeah,
pick it
just
across the face of that one.
sideways, nothing to it.
how hard is turn? Easy.
Have to roll this one away. Can't really nose it, otherwise you leave a hit and roll or a chance to just nudge that yellow stone out.
Shouldn't do a ton here, but it'll come up a little bit.
Chelsea Carey
Yeah.
preparing to throw.
Trust it.
Just easy.
Yep.
Yep.
Quick.
Hard.
Quick.
Really hard, LP.
Hard.
Trying to hold the line.
Just.
Pretty
couple
happy with it
swipes,
now.
Couple. Nicer to be just.
Well, right on the beak.
Well, that's, I don't think, where they want it to be.
She knows we have to hurry, right?
Definitely makes the double
Okay.
possible
그래도 돼.
for Team Korea.
웨이트. 킥.
I should have just gone for.
I know.
Amy Nixon regretting not calling the sweep on early.
From the sweeping with the curl to get the extra
Either
curl.
going across the face or the other way around, trying to hold it harder right through the rust.
끝까지야. 오. 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 야. 야. 오.
Well,
Whoa, yes. Whoa, yes.
make the hit, bump that one over.
Oh, and that might have pushed that Yellowstone far enough back, but I still think Yellow's second shot. They could have
But it-
left that one another half a second. Let's have a closer look.
오.
Well
There.
by the guard.
Worried about probably
오.
missing it. Leaves it there now.
Yes.
Makes that double.
Like I think T line is still okay. Like,
T-line back 4.
Yeah.
Thinking that's close. That looks like lots to me though, no?
Yeah.
But I think it needs to start on this side of the line, doesn't it?
Mine will go crazy.
Like that?
Right? Yeah.
Korea definitely lies 1.
Okay, so 10-15.
Chelsea Carey's going to attempt a freeze. She'll try to come right down
Like
on
this,
top
or
of
like
that
trying to
Korean
double?
stone.
Oh, I like this. Do you like the double though? Whatever you like, Chelsea.
I think I like this. It's just we potentially bring a 3 into play with this. Right?
Yeah.
But we know the speed here because Nixon just threw it. It's a
Yeah.
little further over.
Yeah. Yeah.
14-2.
It's a bit of a negative
Yeah,
thought
I think
actually
we could
climbing
get
into
a
the
14
hack.
and a
She
half
says
there.
We could tap it a little too though as long
she
as
likes
the
this
Okay,
shot,
okay.
but she also acknowledges that it brings
So-
3 into play.
14-2, 14-3, somewhere in there.
105.
You usually want nothing but
Yep.
positive thoughts when you're throwing into the hack to throw
You
your
got it,
last one.
Chelsea.
I guess the positive reinforcement. You got her there, Chelsea.
Room.
All there. Yeah.
Expunging that negative thought.
Close.
Laney.
Yeah.
9.
Said this does bring a 3 into play.
Yes.
Nixon calling hard for the sweep. She knows they can't wreck on that top stone, but she does. No, she's by. What great sweeping by
Wow.
Lainey Peters.
Good sweep.
Chelsea Carey acknowledges good sweep. Lainey Peters desperately trying to hold the line. Amy Nixon screaming at the top of her lungs. She knows it's disaster if they flick that redstone and they just get by it. Looks like they even touched it.
Well, she made that one for skipper.
Yeah. That was a millimeter from disaster. Well, not disaster, but it would have made this shot a lot more interesting.
No thought, draw for 1.
Well, both sweepers on it right away. I'm not sure this one's heavy either. You're really going to have to work this one, Luke.
Well, fall into the 8-foot.
Oh,
And
well
this will
swept.
get their great team sweep for their 4th stone thrower. Gimon Chi able to get it there, get their 1. And we are all square again. We're through 7, 4 apiece.
What was it?
100.
Okay. I didn't give it much.
Yeah.
하는 게 좋을 것 같아.
네. 아, 잘 닦았어요. 몇이었어요?
98인데 약해 보였어. 그냥. 탑만 들여서.
4랜드 들어.
Well, a single point from the Korean side ties things up. All 4 sheets in play. All eyes on sheet A here in our feature game. Korea taking on Canada. 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlob. Every game crucial as we look towards the playoff picture. Canada, interesting to see if they look over, see other games going on that could impact playoffs. Canada 6-1 can control their own destiny. They win out.
Well, that's right, Luke. You know, sometimes you can't resist sneaking a peek at the scoreboard, but your life and death right here against this Korean team. Talked a bit about hammer efficiency in some of our other games, and that's how you do with the hammer. Let's have a look at the players at the lead position. Pretty much evens there between Lainey Peters and Jinsey Kim. Canadians doing a better job with the hammer in this game. They've scored a deuce twice. Koreans have been forced to take one, so you'd have to say at this point, playing the even ends, advantage Canada.
Even if they score one here, I think it's a must-score end for Canada.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Koreans play it, how aggressively they play this end. Great crowd here in Swift Current at the 2016 Ford World Women's. Love their curling here in Saskatchewan.
Well, there were 1,700 people on a Wednesday morning with the home country Canada not in action. Had almost, or just slightly over 27,000 people through 12 draws so far.
Great support for the curlers here in Saskatchewan. They don't want to bump, but they do. Small bump. So once again, we see the end building up along that center line. Saw some corner guards earlier in the game, but lately it seems all the action's in the middle.
Well, they want to try and get to the inside of this one.
Well, it's the outside, and it's a jam. So
Good
the
throw, Lainey.
angle's not what the Canadians want. Even though Canada lies one, those two stones above it are angled.
언니 그거 때리면 둘 다 나가지 않아요? 때리면 둘 다 나가지 않아요?
Kim Eun-chi asking about the options.
Look at the second numbers and advantage Jocelyn Peterman over Sylvie Lee.
Pretty close there. So Korea now trying to take advantage of these angles and move these stones around. Try and promote their own into shot. Across the face, though, needed to hit that thinner.
Well, mistake by Team Canada, mistake back from the Korean side. So 1-2, Team Canada.
Well, that leaves her this double.
Okay.
It's third shot. I don't think we need to hit that, do we?
Okay, call something. We gotta go. I don't like hitting fourth shot.
Amy Nixon worried about the clock. It's been a problem for that Canadian team in this tournament, and they're down to about 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
It's about a minute less than the Korean side as well, so you always like to keep an eye on yours, but how are you compared to your opponent?
Mine's close.
Careful, careful. No, no. Okay, to it.
No, then.
To it.
Nix.
Go behind then, Chuff. Lots. 9.
Whoa.
10.
Quite deep in the house.
Gotta stop.
And that's where I think sometimes the players panic about time clocks. Hurry their throw. It brought anxiety probably into the mind of Jocelyn Peterman, and you kind of just forget your execution, and that happens.
Does it just hurry everything, including you come out quicker than what you wanted?
It creates stress and panic. You rush something, all of a sudden you're throwing a draw into the hack. So I'd have to put that down as a mental error by the Canadians. There we see the time remaining. Each team has 38 minutes of thinking time. We see the clock will stop as soon as that rock hits the tee line. goes into motion. So it's a bit like chess.
릴리가 좀 이상하긴 했어.
Lee Selbil
웨이팅 있어, 열.
오, 아예 바깥 궤도야.
trying to draw down herself.
웨이트가 있어서 푸시를 못해요.
아예.
This one also looks heavy.
거기?
아, 너무 느린데?
끝까지.
Nobody
끝까지
wants
좀만
this
더.
end.
민지야 끝까지 좀만 더. 센터 라인까지 좀만 더.
Winds up on plan D, drawing it around the one and hiding a corner at the back of the 8-foot, but definitely not what the Koreans wanted.
Like back line now?
Yeah.
Well, Canada with 2 deuces in this game. They
Sorry, can't finish.
25% of the time with the hammer scoring 2 or more. Well, the Korean side, better than that at 33. They've only scored a deuce, and that was via the steal.
Yeah, the Canadians have definitely done a better job with the hammer, and they have it here.
Wait, not much. Half.
Close, yep.
Yeah, you gotta move for line lane.
Yep.
For sure now. Whoa! All the way.
Yes, whoa.
Back line!
Whoa.
Just back line! Next!
Trying to pick out this red Korean stone in the back of the 4.
You're good.
Nice shot.
Well, Canada lying 3. Said before,
Nice shot, Ross.
an important end, almost a must-end score end for Team Canada.
Like on its own,
And they lie 3.
And now with the way that these stones are positioned and the guards in front of them, timeout's being called by the Koreans. I was just going to say we're at a critical decision point for the Koreans. The options that you have, you could run that stone straight back,
얘가 이겼죠.
double off the stones in the 4-foot. That's one option.
럼백을 프리즈를 가.
Another option could be to freeze the stone in the top of the 4-foot.
차라리 여기 붙이다가 세서 여기 붙여도
A third option is to freeze the stone in the back 4-foot. All of them have risk. All of them are pretty low percentage.
지금 얘 들어와야 돼. 지금 때려서는 해결될 게 아닐 것 같아. 프리즈 들어오는 게 어때?
여기요?
어. 뒤는 어차피 계속 애매하고.
Shin Dong-ho
프리즈 올 거면 저 앞으로 와야지.
looks to be favoring the freeze on the front stone at the front of the 4-foot.
2번이 중요한 게
There
아니라
we see
저거는 나중에
Korea
해결할
with
수
the red
있어.
stones, Canada with the
네
yellow
개
stones.
들어와야 돼요?
일단은 아웃턴으로 들어야지. 인턴도 많이 떨어져.
아웃턴이 삐플레이 더 많잖아요.
저거 해결할 수 있는 시간 없어요.
아니 상황이 룸이면 뒤도 갈 수 있으니까.
네. 럼백보다는 얘죠?
아 럼백은 안
네,
돼. 지금
그럼
럼백
갈게요.
가지고 지금 될 거 아니야.
인턴 아웃턴. 오케이.
Coach
자신 있게.
Shin knows that if they give up a 3 here, the game is basically gone. Korea can afford to give up 1. They can even afford to give up 2, but if they give up 3, game over. So they're going to try some kind of a freeze to try and cut the Canadians down.
Hi.
Well, I definitely like freezing that top one as opposed to going to the back one.
I agree. If you play to the one in the back and you're just a fraction heavy, there we see a huge advantage for Min-ji at the 3rd position over Amy Nixon in a percentage terms.
Well, Korea in the event, 4 3-points against 4 3-enders,
언니 많이 세,
2 4-point ends.
뒤에 붙어야 돼, 뒤에 붙어야 돼요.
Sweeper's not going anywhere near this one. Looks heavy.
라인 좋아. 라인 좋아. 끝까지 와야 돼. 은지야 끝까지 와야 돼.
I think they're now trying to sweep it to the back one, but I think they're going to get the
That
worst
in
of both
between,
worlds.
little chip and roll.
So, after the timeout and the discussion, a shot that wound up being right in the middle. Couldn't get by the front one to the back one. They just flop in the open, and a great chance here for Canada to really twist the noose.
Nice. Hack.
Just hack. Just hack.
Yep.
Whoa. No.
Whoa.
No.
Close.
No, wait.
Close. Close. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes. Whoa. Leaning really close. Yep. Hard.
Good looking stone here.
I'll tap it back. Lie 4. Just a great read. That's where you need to make those key shots. And
And I think that is the difference between those teams, this afternoon, Luke. Canadians getting these reads on these downweight shots just right, not just for the weight, but for the line and perfect roll. So now Korea going to play the intern. Going to try and get to the nose of this stone in the front of the 4-foot.
실비야 와야 돼. 헐 끝까지 와야 돼. 실비야 끝까지 와야 돼.
Oh, damage control now. Got to get past the front.
They must get by the front guard, but no,
No.
they wreck. So disaster looming for Team Korea.
Well, the question is, now you're in this position, what do you do if you're Team Canada?
How do you make it better? Chelsea Carey immediately taps the front of
Even
the
though
8 foot.
It's not terrible. Fully.
What do we think this way?
I really like this. Can we do it this way, though?
Amy Nixon asks for the outturn.
It's about to go into full panic.
Well, it's the path they've thrown. I think that's why they were thinking,
Again,
keep
Amy
going
Nixon,
that way.
Yeah, Amy Nixon rushing again. She's concerned about the clock, but she has no reason to be.
I think at this stage of the game, you make sure that your shot,
Absolutely.
you score a big end. Time's not going to matter.
Absolutely.
Just to your broom. Joss, you gotta go. Lainey, you need to roll this.
Okay, we're coming full 6.
You need to roll it. You're not in the house.
And again, I think that's just a bad mental error. There's no other thing to say. Amy Nixon rushed that shot. She was worried about the time clock, totally unnecessarily.
I'm just yelling Josh like a crazy person.
I could hear you.
On this guard.
Yeah.
아까보다 덜 보여요.
She wound up getting pretty lucky. She wound up rolling and covering half of the shot rock, but to be frank, she got better than she deserved.
낫지 않아요? 아니, 아웃턴 바깥에서 들리면 좀 덜 떨어지긴 하던데 들어오는 거 아니야? 턴좀더 떨어지긴 하던데. 괜찮? 얼마 보여? 얘한 이만큼
3분의 1밖에 안 보여요.
Doesn't get any easier for Team Korea. They've used their timeout, so they can't bring the coach down again.
I think you can still play that out turn and try and get into the 4 foot. You don't have a lot of room for error, but at least it's closing in the scoring zone. And
Yeah, they're now looking at the angle raise on the red. That's not a bad play either. You'd like to eliminate at least one of these Canadian stones in the 4 foot. There we see the Koreans have got 8 minutes remaining.
들어올 수 있지 않을까?
without their timeout.
Without their timeout, they've got 2 to play here in the 8th and 2 more ends to play. If you've got about 6 minutes of time left to play 2 ends, that's enough.
들어오러?
Saw yesterday the German side just about run out of time. They had 8 seconds on their last rock. And they played the last end with just over 2 minutes.
Yeah. So, what's the play going to be? We see the broom going down just near the edge of the 8 foot. Looks to me like they're going to try and play some kind of an angle raise on that red stone just to the front right of our picture. The one at the top of the 12 foot, try to angle it into the shot stones. Probably play some kind of a board type of a weight. Let's just see what we got. Kim and Chi, big shot.
오!
열한 열둘 웨이트 있어 언니
이거 맞아요!
Trying to angle raise. No, it's a straight
Just trying
draw.
to get into that hole.
Straight draw, and she's on the front. Wow.
샷! 벌써? 다 했어.
Look at the comparison of the last stone throwers. 90 for Chelsea Carey, 75 Kim Chi.
There we see it wasn't the angle raise. She was actually trying to draw through the port, but feathers the outside of guard and spills across, but only into 4th shot position. So Canada with a golden opportunity here.
I gotta probably give you like a 14-8.
Yeah.
Even a 15, you might be able to get there, right?
Yeah.
Like to full 8 foot kind of thing. Okay.
That red Korean stone in the front of the 4 foot, promotable, but not for shot.
I think a 20 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. You got it, Charles. All there? 106. It's all there! Don't
Nice,
don't
good, close.
at all. 7, 9, 8.
Whoa, then.
Whoa, 8. Lady.
Sweepers think there's plenty of weight.
Whoa.
Whoa!
It's not turning. Lady. Whoa.
No.
You're good.
They don't want to flip there and give the Koreans a chance to play a little hit and roll. Comes to rest on the front of the button. Not a bad spot.
That really closes it in. I think can only play on that red right now or that angle raise, but I don't think that's much than to try and just cut down the score.
Well, if they slam the red now, Canada's still going to lie 2. Maybe even 3. So that's not a great option. They're a little bit concerned about the line, but well by the guard. And then they don't want to touch this stone too much and flip too wide, but the weight's just down enough to have it sitting at the front button. At this point, you're looking at some of these run-ins from the side. Could you hit that red stone on the right-hand side of the 12-foot and angle it in on that stone in the back 4-foot? That might be an option, but these are all really, really high-risk options.
이거 얼마나 보여요, 언니?
네, 4분의 1.
이건 안 돼. 근데 안 돼요. 이걸로 가야 돼.
She could hammer this stone into the stone that Chelsea Carey just threw and maybe remove 2, possibly 3 Canadian rocks, but she'd have to throw a missile. That looks like what the attempted play is going to be. So it's all or nothing time here for Team Korea.
Yeah, this is the game right now.
Well, looking at the broom position, are they trying to thin off the inside of it?
Redirect and have the shooter go in.
Yes, not really sure which way they're going to play this. Let's
Or
watch.
nose it and go.
Might jump off the back one. You're right. Hang on, folks. Here we go. It's a heater.
Thin right in.
Oh, great result. Nice shot there for Korea. Well,
that was
interesting. Let's watch this. We need this in kind of like super slow motion. The rocks are flying. Bang.
Gets those top 2 going. Jams it on the back one.
There we come into the rings, and Canada still lying 1. Maybe second shot. It's hard to tell. But the stone is open and available for Chelsea Carey, so this is a shot for 3. We said that the worst outcome for Korea here, if they give up 2, they're still in the game, but if they give up 3, that could be close to lights out. So
Nice throw here.
80-85.
chance for Chelsea Carey.
Hey, you got her, Chelsea.
Hack? Yeah.
Big.
Whoa, Sweetie! Whoa, whoa!
Woo, sweetie!
Yep!
Sweetie! Whoa! Toss!
They must be close, sweeping for the curl now.
Well, get the curl a little inside, and there it is for the 3 spot. Well, Canada needed to score. They do more than that. They go with the triple and a 7-4 lead, and a well-played end by Canada, and Korea just too many little mistakes. Canada capitalizes.
Yeah, they're calling in 1.
Yeah.
Good call. Nice send, you guys.
Well, welcome back inside the Credit Union Iplex. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlob, the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship, and our continuing coverage here in N9 Canada taking on Korea, and Canada strikes big for their third multiple point score in this game.
It looks close to me.
An absolutely huge 3 in the 8th. There was danger building all over the place. Korea had a couple of chances to bail out with nice freezes, but just missed the sweeping line. Then we saw some draw weight errors and chances for Korea to get out of it, but the killer shot was probably that little hit and roll that Amy Nixon made on her second one. And that really set it up. So for the Koreans, after you suffer that kind of a blow, you have to think, okay, get our deuce, go hard to steal in 10, go for the extra. But absolutely, it's advantage Canada right now.
The interesting thing is she made a great shot with her last and still give up a 3.
Yeah, it was definitely a cut them down type of a shot, and they were actually a little unfortunate that they didn't roll their own shooter a little bit closer to the Canadian stones. So it was pretty wide open for Chelsea Carey.
3-6. 3-6. 3-6.
3-6. Okay. Thanks, Dad.
Kim Ji-sun now they'll try and set up their multiple point scored. Try and set up for a 2. Put this one on the corner.
Good looking shot. I'm getting a bit surprised by this from Chelsea Carey. You're up 3. I think it's time to be ripping guards, and she does. Get in that pattern where you're playing the whole game around a center guard and it's going pretty well for you, and you think, okay, let's just keep doing that, and then you look at the scoreboard and think, wait a minute.
That corner guard's the one that can get me in trouble.
Absolutely.
Yep. Right out, Nix. You sweep it, you.
No need for the Canadians to have any guards in play here. Only thing that can really hurt the Canadians is dropping a 3.
Do you like that? I do. Okay. Yep, I for sure do. Sit.
I'll go to a different spot with this corner guard, see what happens, and probably see the peel straight back from Chelsea Carey.
A couple of times this week I've mentioned Canadian curling coach Bill Shearhart, and we've worked with Bill a bit with our New Zealand team. And he always used to tell us, after you score a 3, next end I want it to look like a desert. Nothing in play. So his theory was never give your opponent a bunch back just after you've taken a bunch from them. Nice stone there by Peterman.
Well, taps that yellow one in, but
Really good, Josh.
brings everything into the rings.
Yeah, the Canadians won't mind that. Cuts down the scoring area for the Koreans, and more importantly, doesn't give them anything to hide behind. Might be trying to bring this right around the whole pile. And they do.
So second and third.
So interesting tactical choice there by the Koreans, but you can understand that. Treating that stone in the front 8 foot like a guard, trying to draw around it. But you can get away with that because of the overlaps, but half of it's available for Amy Nixon. picks it up.
Well, just enough, pushes that one out of the rings.
That's the luxury you have when you're up 3. Don't need to stick around anymore. Don't need to weld or freeze anymore. Just remove stones. Korea, on the other hand, they need precision. Again, trying to draw around all 3 of these stones into the back forefoot. They're by. This one's going deeper, though. Sticks around. It's in the back of the 12. So Korea trying to build a multiple point end by using those stones in the front 8-foot as guards. Chelsea Carey say, let's pick this one out. Delicate shot.
Yeah, not a lot of room, but you can see about half of it.
Amy Nixon could only see half on her first one. Can she do it again?
Yep. Heel. Yep. Heel. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Nice stone.
Just right off the face, no problem, doesn't disturb anything else.
Great shot from Amy Nixon. Here we see she could only just hit a sliver.
It's probably a little ballsy to try to save that one, but we were both on the same page.
Chelsea Carey acknowledging that it's a bit cheeky to try and save their shooter, but hey, if the stone's on that path, why don't you go for it?
Just trying to make sure they can get there too. They have that one in the back part of the rings.
2 keeps them in the game. If Canada can force them to 1,
It's not easy to stick it.
it's pretty much game over, but
Should go straight.
2 keeps them in the game.
10-ish, or what do you
Yeah, I like that.
Try and roll this back to the center, or just
Looks like it. A bit too daring to try and double off the stones at the back because you run the risk of jamming.
Even a big roll that way doesn't hurt us, eh?
well, so much fun in 8. Let's look at it again.
Yeah, here we see the 3 Canadian stones. Korea trying a desperation shot. Huge, huge weight, angling in their own stone, slams it into the pile, almost pushes that stone off the forefoot, but a
Just
shot
rolled off.
Just rolled off, and so now Chelsea Carey with her last stone and the hammer. Delicate little down weight hit and roll, and a big score of 3.
Whoa.
Clean.
Joss!
Joss.
Joss!
Yep.
Quick!
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa!
Lady, whoa. Joss. 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 Lady,
Must
take
mean
it,
they're
take it,
really
take it,
close.
take it. Whoa.
Yep,
Just
yep,
in
yep.
front. And just a little overlap. I think they wanted one in front or a little more roll.
Well, it's kind of nitpicking, really, Luke. I mean, if there's going to be a double there somewhere, unless they rolled right over to the edge of the 8-foot. Even then, there's still some kind of a double. Meanwhile, let's check out other action here on the afternoon draw. Let's go back to that heavyweight battle between Scotland and Switzerland. Well, we said that the Scottish train was rolling, but have the wheels come off. It's 5-5. Switzerland was down 5-1 in this one.
Yeah, and Eve Muirhead, it looks like maybe shot just trying to have the shooter come in and tap it up to lie to score 1. Trying to have the shooter get to the inside and maybe roll. I'm not sure exactly the play. Try and roll it in.
No, a little bit heavy, just trying a small tap, but it's another steal for Switzerland. 3 consecutive steals, and they take the lead at 6-5. Wow.
Well, that was a 5-1 game at one point.
And we saw a miss there from the Koreans. They were trying that double takeout, but
Freeze the back one.
actually hit and roll out. So,
Yeah, okay. We don't have to be right to it, but ideally.
well, another interesting call here
I
from
had
Chelsea
13
Carey.
sticks on theirs.
Yeah.
To me, look,
So a
I
little sticky.
thought she, with the preference of the hit, she'd just go and play the straight back.
Like a 3/8.
Straight back looks pretty inviting, but I guess she realizes if she makes a small mistake there, she opens up the chance for 2 for her opponent.
A little more room for error with the draw.
Well, I think probably a little bit, yeah. She can sit second shot somewhere in the house, even if she doesn't corner freeze, and At least make the Koreans make a double to try and get their 2.
All there!
Laney, stay close
Okay,
then.
Laney, you can
Laney, go. Laney, go.
Go, Laney!
Laney, go.
Go, Laney, go!
All you got.
Go, Laney, go, every bit. Still back line. Gotta go.
Well, trying to go to get the curl.
It's got plenty of weight.
Okay, okay.
Have they got contact? No, it's by.
It's just throwing a draw, and she threw hack weight at that one.
So,
Like an 80?
big opportunity here for the Koreans. It's not quite an open hit because they've got their stone in the back, so she's going to have to hit it off center. But chance for 2. Final stone for Kim Eun-chi. Crucial shot for the Koreans.
Well, they got to avoid the jam.
They can't jam. I
Avoid
think
it.
Just by
Just
it.
over the top to score their 2, and it's a 1-point game now. Kim Eun-chi avoids catching their own, scores 2. They take advantage of the Canada miss. Look how close they get.
Great sweeping just to hold the line, and they just squeeze it by that back stone. Critical deuce for the Koreans. But they trail it. Canada leads 7-6 after 9.
Well, for the first time in the game with the hammer, Korea able to get their deuce. Makes it a 1-point game. We play this 10th end. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlob with you. Thanks for tuning in, and this Korean team hanging around.
And this first stone is absolutely critical. Korea needs to stack 2 guards and hope that the Canadians miss tick attempts, so they elect to put the first stone really close to make the tick a little bit tougher, or even if Lainey Peters makes the tick, push one of their own stones onto the rings. So here's Lainey Peters. Stones in the free guard zone, so they can't hit it out of play. They can move it, however, and that's what they're trying to do. They think this one's over curling. They think it's light as well. Maybe it's going to bump it straight back.
They're talking about trying to get it to curl to go across the face.
Keep going. Okay.
An interesting way of playing that. Just hear them say, wasn't the weight.
Yeah, they were looking for probably about backline hack weight.
So we look, have a first final of the draw. It is Sweden winning 2 in a row now. So they move to 3-6 with the 6-2 win over Denmark. Denmark falls to 3-5.
So now the crucial second guard attempt. Kim Ji-sun. Good looking stone. A Little over curl there, but they're partly covering their own stone. Canada again going to try a tick shot to move that red stone further off the center line. Lainey Peters adding a bit more weight on this shot.
One across the face on the last one. This one going into it as well with the out turn.
Nope, they think they've overthrown this one. Too much of an overcorrection by Lainey Peters. This one's going to sail right through the hole.
11-5.
So decision time for Team Korea. Just saying, let's go now.
Well, they got 2 misses. Now they need to continue to make their shots.
Canada with the hammer. Korea must steal this end to force an extra end.
웨이트만 라인 굿. 야. 라인 좋아. 그리고 루미야.
Way by the guard. Are they trying to redirect off that Yellowstone? Now they're bringing it deep. Great sweeping. Behind the guard and behind their own stone in the 8-foot. So Chelsea Carey's now saying, time to start ripping guards.
They're going to need to start doing that because right now they don't really have a path to get to the 4-foot, and that's what you're trying to look for.
Jocelyn Peterman makes the clear. So now it's a game of cat and mouse. Korea's going to try and replace guards, and Canada's going to try to keep running them off. Big pressure because throwing a perfect guard in this situation is like throwing a perfect freeze. You need perfect line and perfect weight, but you're trying to throw somewhere up in front of the house. So you're trying to throw it to a spot.
Lisa will be 78% on the game. Don't want to get it too deep that a double peel is a possibility.
Sweeping it for the curl just for that reason. Exposes the shot rock, but Chelsea Carey's not falling into the trap. She's again looking to run that guard. There we see the time remaining for each team. The Canadians with about 3:10 left. Should be enough time for them to play their shots.
I'll try and get the one in the house.
Gets a little action on that one as well.
Getting that one's actually bigger than you think because now
opens up that in-turn path. That's right, Luke. Big double clear here from Jocelyn Peterman. Now the pass to the button. It's open on the in-turn side, but out-turn side is still impeded by a corner guard. There we see. Out-turn draw to the button. Not really there, but the in-turn's wide open.
Well, it could be the difference of throwing against 2 or 3. Hitting against 2 or 3 is a big difference in this one. If you're hitting against 3 and you hit and roll out, sure, it's the game as opposed to hit on 2. It's just a tie.
Well, this one, I'm not sure what's happened here, whether it's over curled or now they're playing to freeze the stone. But that's not a great result. This is going to be pretty easy to
get rid of all the stones out front and going to have both paths.
So if Amy Nixon can 3/4 this red one on the outside, could open everything up for the Canadians.
No.
Well, it wasn't the cleanest of slides with the wobble and
or the cleanest of releases, but looks okay.
Well, she is very experienced and just gets the one. Tried to just rebound after that delivery. Here's the wobble, the broom back down, and then popping the release.
Well, we saw in the 8th end, Amy Nixon made that amazing pick. And here she picks off a stone again exactly when she didn't want to. Looking for the double. So still one guard there for the Koreans, and let's see if they can do a better job of making use of it this time. Again, close to the guard, but this time they're by,
Trying to get in, lie two.
and they do. Great shot. So now Amy Nixon wasn't able to double off the guard, so she has to spend another shot clearing. High side can also drive this stone onto one of the Korean stones.
Try and catch one of them.
Just past it. So 2 Korean stones there. One's in the back of the button. Amy Nixon lamenting how straight that turn is, but she threw big weight. Guard stone here for the Koreans. Kim Un-chi.
Which one do you guard?
Well, I think you can just throw it right on the center line and leave half of the shot rock open. If Carey chases it, then you just draw around on your last one. Go for the pin. So a tight center guard, I think, is probably the shot. Yeah.
Well, as that one comes down, you can see part of it available.
Yes, just over curled. They wanted that one to be touching the center line, but let's get back to this heavyweight battle. Switzerland, Scotland playing the 10th end. Eve Muirhead drawing to save the game and force an extra end. She's given up 3 straight steals.
Hasn't scored since the 4th and got in defense mode and really hasn't been able to. Well, I should say she's had her chances. She just hasn't made the shot needed.
They've all been tough shots, though. The Swiss have obviously played really well in the second half of this game.
So that'll come down. They will go play an extra. Bonus curling on sheet D.
So meanwhile, back in our feature game, that center guard by Kim Un-chi over curled by about a rock. So half of the stone available to Chelsea Carey. They want this to hang around for shot if they can, but it's rolling back to the edge of the 12-foot, maybe through the rings. Doesn't really matter in the course of the game, although it could be a bit of a saver for Canada if they needed to make some kind of a ping pong shot, but I think they're okay. Korea's going to ignore that, and they're going to use that center guard. It's not quite a center guard, so Chelsea Carey will have a shot at the button at the worst.
Top 4-foot with this one, or do you want it a little bit higher than the other one?
Well, you definitely need to be fully covered behind the guard, so you're going to have to be full 4-foot, just touching the button. They must get some cover. Starting to curl now, but it's well by the guard.
Well, side of the button.
I'd say half hidden. So a bit of a tester and a decision for Carey. She can't afford to roll out of the 4-foot, otherwise it's an extra end.
And these are the winning points in play, forcing her to throw against 2.
So after 10 ends of curling, it's come down to this. Canada's leading it. There's coach Charlie Thomas looking on nervously, and alternate Susan O'Connor. All they can do is watch. Those 2 red stones belong to Korea. Canada's got the last rock. They lead by 1.
They did call their timeout just to stop the clock. They wasn't to talk about it with their coach.
Plenty of time. They've got a minute and a half left on their time clock, but
100? 9,500?
95. I like it.
Chelsea Carey,
Take your time, Chelsea. We got lots of it.
Jocelyn Peterman letting her know
Okay, I'm going to give you a nice slow kick here.
that Okay, Chelsea Carey mentally slowing herself down before this shot.
Well, there's her numbers.
Weight's on
Draws
there.
and hits
Joss.
on the game.
Joss!
Calling for the sweep early to get the curl.
Joss!
Will it curl enough?
10.
I think it's lots of weight.
Lots of weight. They need to get this to touch anything.
Hard toss, hard toss, hard.
Will it go through?
It gets
Korea steals
nothing.
2. Unbelievable win for the Koreans.
Second steal of 2 of the game. And Korea pulls off the miraculous win after giving up 3 and 8. They score 2 and steal 2 to win the game.
Well, well, the Canadian fans are stunned. Chelsea Carey throws it through the stones and the ports. Korea steals 2 and they win this one. Wow, what an upset. Korea with their last stone, putting it on the edge of the button, making Canada look at 2, and a little heavy with the weight and a little wide with the line, and it's right between those 2 Korean stones, and they steal 2 for the win. Delight for the Korean team. Heartbreak for the Canadians as they suffer their second loss. Chelsea Carey, before she threw the stone, said, "I'll give you a nice slow kick," but that one was heavy. Stayed straight, and there you have it. Korea 8, Canada 7. There's your final. What an amazing finish to this game. Steal of 2 against the tournament leading Canadians. And Korea wins their 4th game. They move to 4 and 5 on the week. Canada suffers their second loss. They fall to 6 and 2. My, my, my. What an amazing finish to that game. Chelsea Carey had to draw, well, not draw, she was trying to move that stone. But the positioning of those stones and a little extra weight from the Canadian, stone sailed between the Korean shots and a huge steal. Wow. So that's 3 games completed here on the afternoon draw. Exciting Wednesday afternoon here at the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championships from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. What amazing action you've seen. 1 game remaining. These are the tournament leaders. Scotland, Switzerland, both bringing only 1 loss into this contest, and we're in an extra end. So bonus coverage here for you live from Swift Current. Switzerland trailed in this game at one point 5-1, but arm wrestled their way into the contest, and they've got the hammer here on this extra end.
Where are my brushes? Where are my brushes? Come on, Nate, go! Go, 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 go!
Scotland trying to
Pass that, we're good. Nice shot.
set guards. They have to steal this extra end.
Yeah.
Switzerland's playing the yellow stones, Scotland playing the red stones. We see 2 Scottish stones in the house, but the crucial stone Binia Felcher recognizes is the center guard. So she'll ask third player Irina Shori just to clear this one.
Matty. Good.
Nicely played, and a bit of action on the Scottish stone as a bonus. So great result there for Irina Shori. Scotland still lies 1 in the back of the forefoot. Has a bit of cover from that long guard. There we see it's about half buried. Left-hander, Anna Sloan. Anna's the only
Just
left-handed player in this tournament.
Where are my brushes?
Mine's
Sarah,
a
stay
little bit
close.
lighter than last.
Sarah!
Muirhead wants another guard.
Hard.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Good. Good, nice shot.
Touches the center line. Good guard there from Anna Sloan. Once again, Felcher asking Irina Shori to try and clear this rock. No contact yet. Now she has a piece.
Sehr schön. Sie sind gut gewesen. Dürfen wir auch nicht. Ja, wenig. Nein, aber wir dürfen dort an der Stelle wirklich einfach nicht reinrauschen. Ja. Nicht beim ersten ist ja.
Same spot. Right in the centre line. Is it quite fast up here?
It's not bad yet.
Give me a wee hair less. I'd rather be like your side than leaving her like an angled double rep. 20s?
Scotland skip Eve Muirhead.
Okay, line's good.
Hard back. Line's good. Where is it?
Okay.
Sarah!
Go,
Yep, go
Sarah.
tight! Yep!
Go, Sarah. Hard. Hard. Keep
Hard,
it moving.
Sarah.
Keep it moving.
Hard! Go to back!
Hard. Go, 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 go.
Go,
Hard.
go,
Hard,
go,
hard,
go,
hard,
go,
hard.
go, go! Well
Okay,
sweat.
good.
So the final guard attempt, perhaps from Eve Muirhead, although it's not inconceivable that if Felcher clears these front stones that she might not elect a guard on her last one as well.
Dort bleiben. Nase. Es ist schwierig zum Legen. Dann leitet sie, jetzt hat sie hier geübt und dann leitet sie einen vorne 4 und dann müssen wir anlegen. Ja. Und dann haben wir wirklich ganz
Switzerland's called timeout.
Der Nase.
Their coach Al Moore making his way down.
Ich würde ihn sicher nehmen. Ja, ich würde ihn auch nehmen. Weil es ist wirklich, also ich bin bis jetzt das ganze Spiel mit länger.
They'll be clearing a guard, but they're just trying to decide which way. And
I don't know if you want to nose it, because then that gives her one that's close to the 4 foot, but hit the whole bit in the 8 foot, then she's going to go behind that, and you've got lots of room to come around.
Yeah, nose or a little bit out, but nose is fine,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, or
She will anyway draw.
If you peel that guard, she's going to try to come top 4 foot
Yeah.
on the center
No,
line.
we don't like that. We
Okay.
want to hit.
Make a play now.
Yeah. Okay.
No problem.
Good.
so quick decision. I think even before Coach Moore made it down to ice level, it was pretty clear in the mind of Irina Shore what she wanted to play.
Ja, ik glaube auch.
In der Mitte geht.
Ja, ist gut so.
So they're going to try and come through that port, hit the shot stone and roll somewhere.
Jenny.
Extra end here. Switzerland with the hammer, so they've got 2 stones to come. Scotland's Eve Muir just has 1. Here's Binia Felcher.
Well, got off to that slow start in the game, but really has picked up their play. Maybe a little pressure off. They're able to get things set up.
Well, crucial stone here. To navigate this port. They're through.
Right on the nose.
And I heard Irina Shorey say even before Al Moore got down to ice level, NASA. So she was immediately thinking nose hit. Perfect execution there from Binia Felcher. So what do you do if you're Scotland?
I think you played the out-turn draw to the top of the butt.
We saw the broom brush being placed there. So indeed, Eve Muirhead is going to attempt to draw to the front of the button.
Want to short any side, short this side.
Yeah.
Anna Sloan just reminding Muirhead if we're going to make any mistake with line to try and keep the angles so that Switzerland may jam.
Nah, let's do this.
Okay.
I think a wee bit, Anna. More. Yeah.
Muirhead briefly considering whether she should be playing the hit as well, but settles on the draw.
Okay, so what?
Needs full 4 foot. Here we go.
Eve Muirhead, her final shot of this extra end. Trying to steal a victory back from one they had full control of.
Has to be full 4 foot.
Make sure though. Make sure. Yeah, I think you need to go.
I gotta get shot stone, top of the button. Very nice, able to get just biting the ring of the button.
And that's about as well as she could do. Plus she gives the angle that if Felcher tries to hit it, increases the risk of a jam. So great Scottish sweeping here, dragging it into the forefoot and into a piece of the button. So that's the potential winning shot for Scotland. Now Switzerland saying, do we hit and roll our own to get the button?
Looks like with the broom, that's what they're going to play.
Het is een taak afkeurlijk, hè? Ja.
Be interesting to see how much of that red shot stone's available on the outturn side. But regardless, it looks to me like the Swiss are going to try and use their own stone as a jumper. There we can see it may be a corner on the outturn side, but it's once again through the port for Binia Felcher. Trying to navigate the port, hit her own, roll onto the button to win the game. Tough shot.
Final stone of this extra end 2014 world champ.
They're through the port. Have they got the roll?
Hold the line, get the right roll, and just enough to catch the side of the button. Just. But it will be the single point, and Switzerland climbs all the way back up the mountain to defeat Scotland 7-6. And Scotland, their second loss, and stay with just one loss as they will take on Russia this evening.
Well, and combined with the Canadian loss, that puts Switzerland at the top of the table. Switzerland now alone in first place. And saluting their Swiss supporters. What a great comeback for the Swiss team. Disappointment for Scotland. They had control, but Switzerland rolled back. Look at this, a tiny little roll, but they just get enough of the button for the win.
And just.
Wow, excitement galore here on Wednesday afternoon in Swift Current. What a great afternoon of curling we've seen. High fives from Felcher to Almour. Looking at our feature game, another miraculous comeback. Korea stole two in the 10th end and snatched an 8-7 win over Canada. Again with that line score. On our feature game, we see how that game ended, and let's see end by end some of these great shots coming down the stretch from both teams. Play here in end number 7. Final stone for Yemun-chi of Korea. Team sweep to bring it into the 8-foot to save one. Then in the 8th, last stone for Chelsea Carey of Canada, and a great opportunity to grab what looked like a decisive lead at this point in the game. Great little delicate hit and an inside roll, and Canada scores 3. Then on the 9th, Korea, after a last rock miss by Carey, chance to score 2 for Yemun-chi. Delicate little hit, needs to push it past her stone in the back to score 2. That wound up being quite decisive because in the 10th and final end,
Take your time, Chelsea. We got lots of it.
facing 2 Korean counters. Final stone for Canadian skip Chelsea Carey. Needing a piece of the Korean stone, but it slides by. And an unbelievable steal of 2 for the delighted Koreans. Huge upset for the Koreans. Korea 8. Canada 7. Picking up some of the other games on our final draw, Sweden wins 6-2 over Denmark. United States keeps their faint playoff hopes alive with a 7-4 win over Germany. And we just saw Switzerland with a huge comeback, 7-6 win over Scotland. So, at the business end of the competition, Switzerland stands alone at the top of the table on 7-1. Scotland on 7-2, Canada, Japan on 6-2, followed by Russia and the United States. Korea wins their fourth game this afternoon, followed by Denmark, Germany, and Sweden. Finland and Italy with 1 win each.
Congratulations, well played. How exciting was that win?
축하드리고 얼마나 기분이 지금 얼마나 좋으신지.
너무 좋아요. 어떻게 표현할 수 없을 만큼 좋은 것 같아요.
She said that she cannot explain how much she felt and how much she is exciting now. So she's happy, really happy. Yeah.
What were you thinking when Canada went to play that final shot?
Sorry, could you repeat, please?
What were you thinking when Canada went to throw that final shot?
캐나다가 마지막 샷 했을 때 무슨 생각했을 것 같는지 물어보세요.
조금 많이 긴장한 것 같았어요. 왜냐면 그 전샷에 조금 이제 살짝의 미스가 나왔는데 조금 더 집중하는 것 같았고 더 뭔가 포커스하는 것 같았거든요. 그래서 조금 긴장해 보였어요.
She thinks that Canada was a little bit nervous because there was some mistake before the last shot as well. So she thinks that there was the Canada was nervous, really.
Congratulations, best of luck.
정말 축하드리고 앞으로 좋은 일 있기 기대한다고 하십니다.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thanks again for joining us from the 2016 Ford World Women's Curling Championship from Swift Current. Have a great afternoon.